Hey,
Hey,
I know you don't
hey man, I
smoke
really
weed.
enjoy. And
I know this. But I'm gonna get you high today. Cause it's Friday.
Yes.
You ain't got no job.
Yes.
And you ain't got shit to do.
And we're back. It's your boy, Ivy Joe.
what's that? It's your boy Jacory, just thinking,
And we are Hot Takes and Half Truths.
where the agreeable come to disagree.
Already. Long overdue.
Definitely got a little COVID-19 50 going right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is facts, man. With that said, man, we got a few guys on the line that's on their Hot Takes hotline. Go ahead, throw it out to my deuce, man. Who's on the line?
What up, everybody? This is T-Star Swine, your boy Tony. Come back for a second edition. I appreciate y'all having me back on.
Yeah, man, you're a residential. You're a special. You're not even a special guest no more, man. You are.
You're a resident hot taker right here.
I'm a resident hot taker. All right, cool. I love it.
Up next, we have another one on the line.
Yo, what up, man? This is your boy Gerard, man. G-Slim, poster boy.
Already.
Yeah.
And make sure to not be a square. Hit the share, like, subscribe, notification button on all our social media platforms, and that's YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud on Hot Takes and Half Truth, on IG and Twitter on the HT Square Pod. You can reach me directly at I am Ivy Joe. That's Joe, Jeaux.
Yeah. Holla at me at Just Thinking on IG and Twitter.
Already, man. It's good to hear from you boys, man. All you boys. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So with that said, man, I guess we'll start with my man Jacory, man. So what's been good with you, man, since we last spoke?
Hey, man, just social distancing. And
Yes.
trying to stay in rotation at work, man. You know, not doing too much, just keeping it low.
Yeah,
And
man.
working, bro,
I
really.
seen you been off-site now, baby. You've been working outside. Man.
Yeah.
That was new. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I'm about 50-50. But with the new position, I think I'll be having to go in a little bit more, man.
All right.
So we'll see.
When you start that again?
Shit, last Saturday.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, shit, man. Congrats, my man.
Appreciate it.
I mean, shit. Since the last time we talked, I also started another position, so it's been slow motion because a lot of the position has to be face-to-face type work. But been doing a lot of stuff on, I guess, through the Zooms of the world, and it's been cool though. I mean, I like it thus far. We'll see where it goes. I guess you just got off a rotation. I just got on one, so that's been kind
There
of
it is, man.
Yes, sir. So that's pretty much what I've been up to, and copious amounts of alcohol. Last few weeks.
Speaking of which, what y'all boys sipping on right now, man?
So
Hey,
I'm sipping on some wine, dude.
okay. What we got? We got a white, we got a red, what we got?
White, man. Pinot Grigio. That's all I drink.
okay,
You know.
I hear you.
So I'm a brown drinker myself,
Gotcha.
but to give y'all a little bit too much information, I kind of slowed down on my drinking almost completely
This nigga.
right after the LSU Bama game.
Yeah, see, you got excuses. We call those excuses.
Yes.
Shit got right. I don't use those tools of incompetence. I looked at it more as a motivation to move my life forward in a different direction.
Okay.
So while maintaining my brown preference, I am actually currently sipping on some mango ginger tea with a dash of turmeric and honey.
Oh, this nigga's healthy.
Hey,
Yeah,
let me tell you something. If you have no motivation to be healthy at all, this time would be the motivation to be as healthy as you can.
You get it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. And I'll say if you're not motivated to be healthy right now, ain't nothing gonna motivate you after this.
Well, I have a shot of Make It Smart, cast edition. What is it, cast? Yeah. And then I have a little bit of some red wine, cab, agitator. Agitator. It's called agitator. I thought it was apropos.
Okay.
Shakori, you
All right,
drinking
so-
anything? Shakori ain't drinking.
I got a little spice rum. Over.
That's very Caribbean of you.
Sure. Married to a Jamaican woman, so yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Already.
honorable Jamaican, so.
Yes.
Already. So with that said,
Hey.
I guess we'll go ahead and jump into the first topic of this evening. For COVID-19, baby. I mean, all of us actually live in, I guess, epicenters. Technically speaking, with you out in Washington, Tony, and then G, you up in New York, essentially, and then us down here in South Florida. I guess just to kind of get the ball rolling. I mean, and since it started out west, we're going to go throw the ball to you, Tony. How you
Right.
feeling,
So
man? I mean, what's your initial thoughts?
You know, it was interesting because I've had the opportunity to see this from afar for a while. Like I kind of paid attention to it, but when it hit America in Seattle first, I'm like, shit, like, come on, ain't nobody gonna want to see me no more.
Fucking A,
But
man. You just kind of moved up there. Y'all just moved up.
It just made a year this month actually.
Already.
But yeah, so I gotta give Seattle credit. They, from a government structure, they handled this as best as I could have expected. Like, even though it started here, they flattened the curve. The rate has gone down tremendously. People actually stayed in their house. Like, and this was before shelter was in place. Like, when people were just like, look, just keep your distance. This is what social distance is. Stay home, mind your own damn business. And people just kind of did that. And I kind of have a theory, which is based in no research or logic whatsoever.
I mean, we call it, that's sheer hot takers logic.
It's sheer. This is sheer hot taking right here. But Washington is probably the most beautiful, scenic place I've ever lived. The amount of greenery and just nature that's here is just unbelievable. And I have this theory that when people actually sat their ass at home, nature was allowed to actually do what it does, and it corrected itself.
So, I mean, to kind of piggyback off that I guess in Italy, they were saying that, they had the first real outside of China, like lockdown, that they kept everyone in place. And they was talking about how they started seeing dolphins again in certain areas of the country that they haven't seen in years. And it was because they, the lack of human intervention, that I guess over the months or weeks that they couldn't get to, like, do their normal thing, that I guess it kind of like cleaned the environment a bit. So, and then, there's a person out this way that she was like, she's never seen dolphins in, I think it was Biscayne Bay. or something like that. And she was like, about 2 or 3 weeks into it, she was like out on her like balcony, looking out into Biscayne Bay and seeing like 3 or 4 of them playing. She was like, I've never seen them. I lived here 10 years. So, I guess there's some anecdotal half-truther shit going on right there. But it seems like it's working a little bit.
No, for sure. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the world, the human body, they are awesome specimens that, if allowed to, they can self-correct a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right. And I think if the more we pay attention to the earth and our fucking bodies, like the more we pay attention to our bodies, I think we would be better off, fighting viruses like this.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But that's a whole other topic.
And I think when you start getting more healthy, you start noticing things about your body a little more too. And
right.
Because like the last couple of years, I've been going through some shit. I'm like, yo, dude, going to the doctor, and like, I don't be going to the doctor. Like before, like the last year and a half, I hadn't gone to the doctor. Like it probably been maybe a decade before I went to the doctor. But I'm going there. I'm like, yo, this shit is not like. Shit's different now, dude. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, but something is different, bro. And they, we do all kinds of like little tests and shit, and everything come back normal. I'm like, well, I guess maybe it is. Nigga just getting old.
Right.
But shit's different.
Hey man, take your ass to the doctor, man.
Hey, bro, I spent the most money in copay. Well, what was it? What they call it? Not copay. But anyway, deductible. I done spent the most money in deductibles than I spent in the last 15 years in the first 4 months of this year. So I've been going to the doctor. Yeah.
Hey, preventive maintenance though, you got to do that.
Yeah, I've been going to the doctor.
Dude. And I had this conversation with a friend of mine. So I believe in Western medicine. I do, but I come from a Jamaican background, so I also have that herbal holistic knowledge as well.
Yes.
To feeding the body and stimulating things in your body.
True.
And I'm like,
True.
The government is running 1,000 miles a minute trying to find this vaccine.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to happen.
True.
But why are we not talking about it? Why is the media not talking about how you can strengthen your immune system? The things you can put in your body to strengthen your immune system for this virus and the next. And then use Western medicine to better facilitate a strong host.
You're gonna start a real off the topic.
Right. That's why I said that's a whole nother topic. We could table it. That's that hot take shit. You got to reel me in. I be going everywhere. Like,
I got you, baby. But
hey, my man on episode 2 trying to get a spinoff already, man.
I see, baby. Hey, I sent you. I saw that that meme by that Mexican getting hazed. Hey, don't make me start setting this motherfucker, man.
Yes.
Shout out to my LB Jeff.
Yes.
yeah, man. Hey, my front door tried real hard. You know what I'm saying? I took care of him though, man. He good, man. He's solid. But I guess to kind of piggyback off what you were saying though, man. It's hard when you got that capitalistic society behind it. You know what I'm saying? Running. That's why. Well, I can't say that's why, but that's my opinion why, most medical doctors, medical school doctors, should I say, they never really look or research like food and how that affect. It's all about a pill or some type of syringe to push into your body. You know what I'm saying?
And I want to preface it by saying I have the utmost respect to everybody on the front line. Like, I'm not shitting on doctors and nurses. Like, man, y'all are superheroes, and I have no idea the amount of stress y'all going through. But I pray for y'all because y'all are intentionally going on the front line, saving lives, not being able to see your family, not being able to reach your family because you don't want to bring that shit home.
Yeah.
And if you do, you run that risk every day. So I appreciate y'all. I thank each and every one of y'all I know personally, and those that I don't, you just like a soldier to me.
Right.
I much love.
Absolutely.
So in the interest of trying to keep us on track, let me go ahead and pass the ball over to Gerard and see. I mean, you essentially live in basically the epicenter of the COVID-19. You know what I'm saying? How what's your thoughts on it, man? How is it up there? I mean, being in it.
It's pretty bad, man. It's I think we all are pretty much going through the same thing. I just think that it hit a little.
In a sense, yes, but I mean, shit, bro. You motherfuckers got like what 200,000 cases. Y'all far and away.
Oh no, we have.
Y'all far and away way more than that.
Is it more than that?
Between New York and New Jersey, y'all way far away than everywhere else in the country. Deaths and
no, by far. But I also think that that's mostly because we put more investments into testing for the coronavirus, and so therefore, obviously, you would get more results from it. But I think it actually may be worse than expected in every other part of the country as well.
It probably is worse than we know. I mean, shit.
And we have a really good governor. Cuomo has done a really good job in being very proactive with the response to the virus, and so I think he's done the best job so far of any state government, although he should, obviously, because it's the epicenter. But no, he's doing a good job, man, and I think so. But it's really bad up here, obviously. My life has changed to ways I never thought it would, in good and bad. And
ain't no time.
I kind of appreciate it.
There ain't no time in our life where we had to be shelter in place like this for this long. Like at best, at worst, it was like a few days right after a hurricane. But
exactly,
you knew exactly what was going on, and it wasn't necessary that you had to stay in the house. It's just like, there's nowhere to go.
and even that was hyper local to whoever was affected by the hurricane. It wasn't nationwide kind of thing.
Yes, sir. Exactly. So, with that said, Jacory, I mean, you've been quiet over here. You're quiet like a church mouse, man. The noose won't bite, man.
No, I ain't worried about that. So 1911 for the two orbs, so I'm not worried about it.
Yes, sir. It was a damn good year.
It was.
What? I guess let me go ahead and get your thoughts on it, man, and we'll go ahead and open it up to everyone after that.
Your boys pretty much said it all.
But from a Florida perspective, that's where I'm going.
Well, from a Florida perspective, I think the governor is doing his best job to not, one, cause a panic, two, literally shut everything down, because we don't necessarily see the same patterns in some other areas, such as the tri-state area and larger areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you said it at the beginning was kind of like South Florida is really the epicenter as far as Florida is concerned, and I remember seeing, on Twitter and some other blogs and news articles and stuff, people calling for like all the beaches in Florida to be shut down 100%, stuff like that. And the governor didn't issue that call, but the counties and more, I guess, local counties and city kind of leaders have stepped up, and they took the action necessary where they felt it was needed. And I think we're seeing kind of flattening of the curve down here. Miami is a little different, they're fighting some things, but
they really shut down.
I think it's more a function of population than anything else, bro. In New York, it's kind of evidence of that, and that when you have 10 million people, and then once you start including Jersey, you're talking 13 to 15 million people, and that close to proximity, and the infrastructure is a lot of people rely on the infrastructure, like the subway and things of that nature.
Yep.
It just goes
Yep.
to show how your greatest asset, which is the people, can be can be impacted by something like this. So, and it's tough because you shut everything down up there, and you're really asking for a collapse of their local economy. And down here, I don't think we really have those same issues. So
Yeah,
I think DeSantis is doing a good job for what he's got to deal with. And I hope that, in the next couple of weeks, maybe a month, that we'll be seeing, some of the measures he's put in place start unraveling and things start going back to normal.
Okay. Well, I know. Our governor went on and let Jacksonville open they beaches back up this week. Although from my understanding, it was like we had the most number of COVID cases this week or that day or whatever. But I guess with that said, we'll move on to thoughts on how it's been handled. I mean, whether locally or federally, you want to start federal? Start the federal government and then move. I mean,
yeah, let's start federal and get the bad news out the way.
Okay, we're gonna get the bad news out the way. Who wants to get off?
I mean, hey man, the water's warm.
Hey,
Who wanna jump in first?
If the water's warm, I'm jumping in head first.
Yeah, go ahead, baby. Yeah, you're very opinionated.
Y'all know.
Go ahead.
Now look, y'all know how I feel about our president. Because I'm gonna give him the respect of our
No,
president.
actually, I don't know. So tell us how you feel about it.
So I believe that our president he's not good for the nation, and it's not because of him. It's because he can influence the masses of ignorance,
Yes.
and they take it as law. Right? I've never been a fan of Donald Trump, but I think when you have a role of leadership where you have to lead a mass of ignorant people, you have a greater responsibility. And I think he totally bastardized that responsibility at every turn.
Yes.
With that being said, I think I think it didn't matter as much until people's lives were really in danger. I think this is when it really started to resonate with me that this motherfucker irks the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Like every time he talks, which is why I stay away from news a lot, because you can't bring me a person that can talk about Trump, whether they're for or against it, and you don't just feel the toxicity coming from that conversation. And that I just don't have space for that kind of energy, right? But from a federal standpoint, we fucked up. We fucked up because because the government wanted to play typical politics, you eliminated a group of people that Obama put in place to prevent the very thing we're going through, or at least get ahead of the very thing that we're going through, which was the pandemic council,
Gotcha.
or whatever it's called, that was supposed to work with the global entities to get in front of these type of viruses and things of that nature.
True.
So right there was your first. It was your first interaction of capitalism versus actual value for human life.
And I guess I probably could add something to that real quickly, and I'll let you get back on it. But right after Obama initiated that council, there was the Congress was actually in Republican control, and how I think maybe you've been hearing about how the national stockpile has been low or wasn't funded all the way. It was because they underfunded it during those years. After the last couple of years, while Obama was in office, they didn't approve the funding to keep the stockpile in order. And that's something I just heard just last week. Like, yo, that's crazy. Like it
Which
literally is pointing right back to Republicans.
which at the time just looked like political pandering.
Yeah.
But when you need the shit, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So you got that.
Yeah, which is why at the time no one was making a big deal about it, because it was like, well, we do have something. We got the majority of what we need, or we got some semblance of what we need. But when you need the PPEs and you ain't got it because you haven't been funding in it, and you purposely didn't fund it because you were trying to, erase certain accomplishments by another administration. It's crazy, man. I can talk all day long about fucking politics and how fucking Republicans are like. I hate the fact that like Democrats would play along, and Republicans would just be like, "Fuck it, I am going to fucking ruin this shit."
But here's the thing, because Democrats are not. They're not fucking off the hook either.
No,
like
because they could have funded it too over the last couple of years.
There's some fucking moron political shit going on there too as well. Like I'm just not a fan of our government structure right now. I'm just not. Like I don't think it has the best interest of the country in its intention. Right? But I'm a table my point of view for the federal view as this. The federal government fucked up, and we shouldn't have relied on them in the first place.
Well, I don't know, but that's their job, though, man. Technically, they're supposed to lead on this. All right.
Well, yeah, but their job ain't to mess up that bad, though.
G?
My view on it is, all right, so my thoughts on the response to coronavirus is that Trump failed massively. And it was because he had, first of all, I agree with everything that Juan just said. Everything. And I would say that Trump had an inability to send out millions of test kits and protective medical gear for healthcare workers. And even you look at like South Korea, for instance, they tested more than 66,000 people in the first week.
Yeah, that's really the biggest, failure on his part. And he, I apologize. Go ahead.
Right.
Continue.
Yeah. So, but in comparison, South Korea tested 66,000 people, right? By comparison, the U.S., which took us almost 3 weeks to a month to even complete that many tests, and we're more populous, and we have a greater economy than South Korea, but yet they were able to do that in a shorter time span, speak volumes about the Trump administration. But also that, in addition to that, he had this messaging, like through Twitter, that was downplaying the crisis.
Poor messaging.
That even as it worsened, he tried to make it seem like it wasn't that serious and things like that, which slowed down the response to the virus.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing with this also is that this actually began in April 2018, where we had an indication of the virus, which is the SARS-CoV-2, which causes the COVID-19, which sickened a lot of people in China. And the world was in notice of this virus back then. But Trump's response to that in 2018 was to dismantle a team of his pandemic emergency response team, right? He fired the leadership, dismantled that team in 2018, all because of what Juan was talking about, which was this political rhetoric between Republicans and Democrats trying to control the House and what so have you. But in response to that, he did all of this, which you can see that we're not equipped to handle the onslaught of this virus today. So, I mean, I think that given all of that, I think our response to the whole pandemic was atrocious. It was unprepared. And I think that we're going to talk about this later. I have a lot more, but we have a lot of improvement to do.
Corey?
Hey, man, I'm in agreement with everybody, man. The government, I don't want to say Trump, because I kind of feel like it was the government as a whole, man. They really botched this whole situation. I think, me personally, I like to look at it as if it was I'll draw an analogy to marketing, right? And Trump, I've heard him referred to as kind of a masterful marketer in a lot of in a lot of regards, right? Whether it be him on, like, we call him the celebrity in chief sometimes. I've heard him referred to in some other instances, right? He's really learned how to use the media to his benefit since being elected, since running and being elected. And even in some of his policy, man, he just knows how to control, narrative sometimes and put a spin on things to where it seems like we're going to be okay. And I think this was one of those instances where, he tried to market to us, the state of how we were going to be, instead of actually being prepared. He told us, there's plenty of clips out there, back in January when he's doing press conferences talking about this, and it's a little virus, it's not going to make it this far, it's not going to do that, we did this to stop it. And I think this is just a prime example of how he just literally just kind of bullshits his way through things.
Yes.
Without having to get too technical or anything. This is a classic example of some, how can I put it? It's just a classic example, right, of we were told something, we chose to believe it, and I say we, I just mean kind of the nation as a whole, not myself, not any of you all individually, but he just speaks so loosely and just puts things out there, right, as if it's going to be okay, and neither side of the government challenged him and called into question, at least from what I'm concerned, any of the kind of rhetoric he was putting out there. And now we're dealing with the fallout of that. This is an instance where we don't need, to be comforted by words, man. People need real assurances set in place. We needed real, I heard somebody mention, we need test kits. We need to know the infrastructure is being prepared and for whatever can happen. Not it won't happen, right? Because, we're too good a country or for whatever reason, right? All the bullshit reasons he gave us. Talking with my wife the other day, man, and I equate it to like how we pay for insurance, what he did with this pandemic thing. And talking with my wife, it's like you don't pay for insurance because you've never had an accident. Right? Nobody says, well, I've never had an accident today, so I'm not going to need insurance. Or maybe some people do say that, right? But you pay for it for the instance in which you do have an accident so that you're covered.
Just in case shit happens.
That, right? You have some kind of protection to help you get through that situation. So all of this, he dismantled the pandemic team. I think that was, a glass half full, that thought was, was not really,
because
there was no thought put into that.
Also,
because it's almost like we've never had a pandemic, or we haven't had a pandemic in the last, who knows how many decades. So, which isn't really even a true statement, because we've had multiple. Come to find out, it's just they never reached this level of impact in the country. But so to dismantle a team like that on the premise that we haven't had a major pandemic outbreak in the States, it's premature. It was, I would like to think ill-advised, and just I think the first gentleman said that, it did not have the American people, the actual citizens' interest in mind, as a first priority. That to me sounds like some capitalist, some we're trying to save a budget and all that kind of shit. And that's one of those instances where you find the money somewhere else, man. You don't cut it from something like that. In which, as we're seeing, right, there are very few people who are really educated and informed enough to where they can advise, a nation, much less the world, on how to respond to this this kind of a pandemic, a kind of problem. So you don't cut those people out the budget, man. You keep them there because you need them. And when they give you some advice and they say something's spreading, you need to, whatever recommendations they have, you need to implement those to get ahead of it.
But
they didn't do
can we dive in a little deeper on something real quick?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because we were talking about doing the right thing, and we compared it to how to function that with capitalism, right? I want to take it a step further. I think the thing that's egregious about what Trump did with his tweets and his attitude about COVID in the beginning, what it actually is doing is showing the world how we as Americans do not hold government accountable. Let me tell you why that's very dangerous. Because I believe capitalism works when you can influence masses, right? And it requires a level of ignorance from the masses, and you have to have a machine to influence them. Trump is showing that the masses are very influenced. They're easily influenced. The problem is, in this social media world, if globally the world knows that Americans can be influenced very easily, then it is a threat to American capitalism, because at any given time, if some other country figures out how to influence the masses of Americans away from the political structure of this government, then capitalism will it won't fail, it'll just shift from America and being the epicenter. It could.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
It's going to happen. I mean, China's going to overtake us eventually.
They've already been working towards that already anyway.
They're just too much bigger than us. We can't. We're not going to be able to keep them off of us. But
but you would think, knowing that, true capitalists, knowing that, you want to get ahead of that.
It's a lot of people out here making money, man. When you making money, you trying to get your money now. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me get me now. And that's what these motherfuckers do. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, like even with the stock market, this motherfucker always talk about the stock market. The stock market is 85% of the wealth on the stock market is contained within a certain percentage of the country. I think 10% of the country, 85% of it. So essentially what you're telling me is the people that's rich is getting richer off the stock market. The rest of us aren't getting rich off that. It's a fixed game. You know what I'm saying? But that's what he, he points to that as saying the economy is strong. And
right.
if you, if it's a fixed game, you got it's sort of like it really is sort of like Vegas. It's one of those things where if you have enough money, eventually you will win. It's just, you're gonna have to spend to win, and that's essentially the stock market. As long as you have enough bread, you got this generational wealth, and you're able to, dictate. Because I don't think people realize that whenever you buy a stock, the price goes up. And whenever you sell, it goes down. Unless more people are trying to buy it. So it literally, every action, tells about the price. So if you're a fucker that you can put $10 million to a fucking stock, you're going to bump that shit up. Even if you're the only one that believe in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is a fucking fixed racket. But
that's why they with insider trading laws. That's why they put that into motion, because of that very issue right there.
True, but it still don't matter. Like if you have enough money, you can still just affect the fucking price of a stock. If you decide that, hey, I believe in them, like a fucking Warren Buffett, you're gonna fuck them. You're gonna affect the stock just because you got enough money to fucking affect it. You know what I'm saying? Like me and you, like one of us can't do that. You know what I'm saying? We gotta hope one of these motherfuckers, or hope that the street believes in the numbers. Cause you could be a fucking profitable fucking company, but the fucking street don't believe in you, and your fucking you know what I'm saying, stock price falls. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a rigged game, man. But with all that said, my real quick point on my thoughts on the federal approach is literally, this is what happens when you get a neophyte in office. You know what I'm saying? All he knows is the game. And so, you know, kind of piggybacking on this, I kind of mentioned this in our text thread the other day. But like, the reason why Louisiana is having the issue that it's having is because he didn't take it. It's more than likely because he didn't take it serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he would have took it serious and started and had the team in place and made warnings, then places like Louisiana doing Mardi Gras could have been like, you know what, maybe we need to cancel Mardi Gras. Because that's the only reason why Louisiana is having this issue. You know, that incubation period where people from all over the world and the country comes into town, and now there's all these people all up on each other.
But again, to that point, Eric, that goes to G's point. I think, personally, these other states are fucking up on testing. And New York is doing a good job on testing. That's why they got such a high rate.
So here, I hate to jump in on you, but the problem with that is because the federal government. So, and again, I didn't get a chance to finish, but so the reason why all that has happened is because initially the federal government, Trump, when he did get on board with, it is an issue, he took he took the narrative that, we will take the lead on this. And then as he realized, or as his team realized how expansive it was, then that's when he threw it back down to the states. And that's why the states is like, we need you guys to take the lead, because we not only competing with other states, but we competing with your ass, and then we're competing with other fucking countries. So we need you to take the lead to, purchase the PPEs and the fucking testing, so that it's one giant, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's simple economics, economy of scales. You can move the market, essentially. We just kind of talked about it. The federal government can move the market. And if they went there and was like, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make these purchases and y'all reimburse us at a certain fixed price, it could have worked. And that's what the governments want. That's what the states want. Because they don't want to have to compete with each other. Because that's a lot of the issues that they have. They're having shit like where some states said they win bids, and then after the fact, they expecting to get the shit, and then it's like the company said, so-and-so came in and outbid you. You know what I'm saying? And that's because of a lack of leadership. And he's festered this economy, or this situation where everyone is out, you know what I'm saying, the children of the corn, where everyone's out for their own. And, that's something that, again, that goes back to him, a neophyte in office who all he knows is, he's a used car fucking salesman. He's all about the fucking sale until he had to get serious. And that was like March 15th, after about 3 to 4 weeks of fucking, we'll be gone. We had none last week. We got 2 this week. We had 15 this week. And next week, it'll probably be all gone. Like a fucking asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like, he at the end of the day, the president is supposed to lead. His problem is he's not a leader. Even when... Let me finish this and I'll throw it back to you. Even when there's evidential proof that you fucked up, this motherfucker is saying, I didn't fuck up. Someone else is the problem. And anyone that knows anything about leadership knows a great leader owns up when he fuck up. That's what makes a great leader. Because when all the chips are on the line and you made the mistake, you ain't looking to shift the blame to someone else. That makes me, who reports to you, want to give you my all. And he never takes any responsibility. And that's ultimately, to me, the problem with him being the president. All right, I'll pass that to the floor.
So I'm gonna just say devil's advocate real quick.
Go ahead,
because
man. You like doing that shit.
We talking about Trump a lot. But I feel like I gotta look at it, and I do. I feel like I gotta look at it objectively. and we say that he's not leading.
He's not.
While I refer to him as, our president, because it pissed me off it pissed me off a lot when fucking redneck white people would be like, Obama is your president. No, motherfucker, you live in America. So, still, Trump is the president. With that being said, I think Trump is speaking directly to his base.
Yeah, and they're going to be the ones that get fucked over the most.
No, but they are.
They are.
But let me explain something. We all about to get fucked over. Because the reality is, I hate to break this to everybody, Trump is about to win this election again. Because nobody's talking about.
Now you're trying to talk some shit.
All right, hold on.
Hold on. Are you coming in?
Huh?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'm just saying. I'm saying in this shelter in place, in this new normal that we have. You know what nobody's talking about?
I get you. I hear what you're trying to say.
What the fuck is gonna happen in November?
I hear what you're saying.
Nobody's talking about that. You know what else nobody's talking about?
They trying to do. They bring it up the because a lot of states, and it's funny because like that's another instance in which it's good for Trump, but it ain't good for you. Is a situation where they've been talking about being able to mail in your vote, and how Trump has done that this year in Florida, mailed in his vote, but he's saying it's treacherous for the country. So I mean, they're talking about it. It's just maybe it's not as loud as it needs to be.
Right. It's not. Right. That's not as loud. You know what else is not as loud? You ain't hearing shit about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is he's the guy on the Democrat side. Ain't nobody talking about Joe Biden right now.
I can't necessarily say that because I'm into the politics, so I'm in it every day.
Okay.
So.
What? From a standpoint, I actually don't.
This, and let me just jump in real quick, and then I'll let you have it. I know this is gonna warm my co-host's heart, but we already had this conversation, and it's on. It's on each and every one of you to educate yourself on this shit. If you're not, well then you're not living up to your responsibility as an American, because that is essentially what this fucking country was founded on, an educated electorate. And if you don't educate yourself, then you ain't being an American. You know what I'm saying? And that's just facts. That's just facts. I get it. We all work. We all work hard. We all got shit to do. But shit, you want your country to be.
This is the hot take part of the show because all that shit.
We already talked about it. Hey, Ja'Cory, you go ahead and jump in. You want? We had this conversation before.
It sounded very good, but if you look back from a historical standpoint, the people that vote are stupid as fuck. So I don't want to hear this educated part.
Hey,
government and elections are all about prime king.
So you just said the prime.
Cool at the moment.
You said the magic word, the people that vote. So I'm talking about the other people that decided that it wasn't worth their time to go and vote. That's your fault.
They've already forfeited your argument.
That's just your fault.
I'm not educated and I don't care.
Hey, again, that's what this country was based on, an educated elected. And if you're not gonna educate yourself, if you want to make an excuse, that's on you, baby. I mean, shit, you're going to get what you got. You know what I'm saying? You get fucking Trump.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying you're going to get Trump again. You're going to get 4 more years.
If you want to find it, you can find it. That's what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. But I feel like you
just don't want to find it. Those people don't want to find it.
And I'm saying those people vote. And those people vote in droves. I think those people are white women. I think those people are white men.
Well, they're technically saying that they're saying those people, as far as like white women, particularly the educated white women that went to Trump, they're saying that those are polling towards Joe Biden this year anyway. It's just FYI.
Cool. We'll see. Because you know what Trump going to end up telling people? When I came in office, I gave you money. When I left office, I gave you money.
Well, I mean, that's why he wants this. That's why he want to open the country up now. That's why he did what he did yesterday.
Yeah, to further remind people. All I'm saying is,
right now he's in a shitstorm.
Trump is playing chess with a bunch of checkers playing motherfuckers.
And
I don't want y'all upset in November when this nigga wins and be like, how the fuck this happened? How the fuck it happened?
Well, but at the same time, that kind of piggybacks off another reason why, like I said, how this motherfucker's not a leader. On one hand, we still in the midst of his, social distance and stay in place type of order, and he's telling people in 3 battleground states to go and protest. You know what I'm saying? Go protest. Go out in public and protest. Like, look, dude, and that's nothing but political. That's nothing but politics. You know what I'm saying? Like, go out here, Virginia. It was like Virginia, Michigan, I think Ohio. It was like, yo, go tell your governor to open up the state. And it's like, yo, dude, you got to be the fucking leader on this shit, bro. Like, I realize this shit is gonna hurt you because all you've been talking about is the fucking stock market for the last 3 years. But that was you. You the first president in modern history to tie his presidency to the fucking stock market. And you know why you did that shit? Because you're a fucking neophyte.
Yes.
Like, that was it. Like, they, from the moment he did it, people was like, this is not smart. Because again, it's a fixed fucking system. When the fucking rich people decide that they ready to make their earnings, the fucking market is going to go on a run. It never fucking fails. So
I'm gonna ask you this though. I'm gonna ask all y'all this, because I do believe leadership is what is needed in government. Is leadership needed to get a vote? Is leadership a top reason people vote for a motherfucker?
no,
Yes.
No.
Because of
No.
what?
no,
Because
it's
of what
issues based.
Ja'Cory and because of what Ja'Cory and Ivy just said is, and what you said, the voting base is uneducated and weak, and they need people to lead them. But if we had an educated, self-preserving people to vote for their own interests, then we wouldn't need leaders to tell us what to do.
I mean, it's
I
issues
appreciate
based.
it. I'm not arguing what we need. I'm arguing what we currently have. What I'm asking you is the current American voting base. Do you believe they are voting based on leadership or based on who is the coolest motherfucker to them?
I don't think it's about cool, because if it was about cool, it wouldn't be him. It's about what you gonna give me and what you represent. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you could do for me.
Yeah, I mean,
And you know what he
in
can do for
general.
them? He can make America great again. That's my whole point. He's a fucking marketeer, and it works.
Yes.
But that's why
It
I
works
say
until
that
it don't.
it is partially based on if you're cool or not, because whether he may not be cool to you, Trump is cool to somebody,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so
Some
that's why they
asshole
vote.
out there.
They think he's quote unquote cool.
Yeah. With all that said,
Dude,
I mean,
go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. You had something.
No, I was just about to say, because I want to level set this shit for like black and brown people. If we think about this, if all black people in America didn't like Trump, you still only having a 13.4 conversation.
I got
If
you.
every nigga voted,
But
you still gonna fucking lose.
But at the same time, that was like, the levels of participation amongst black people was down in 2016. We were.
You know why? Because the black man wasn't running. Because let's be real.
But
Niggas did not vote for Obama because he was a great leader. Because
sometimes
he was a nigga.
And sometimes it becomes one of those situations where it's like people feel like they're in a good situation. The right people are going to vote the right way, and so you get laissez-faire.
I do, but I think to your boy's point, man, is that people vote to much simpler things that resonate with.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? And I think he's absolutely right with the Obama example, bro. Is that black people came out in droves because we wanted to support someone that was black. Now there might have been other reasons for a significant portion of that population, but you got as many people as you got because black people wanted to see a black man in office.
True. But I mean, it technically speaking, saying there's still if I'm not mistaken, across the board, all races, participation was higher in 08 and 12. Like it was a laissez-faire attitude across the country, because I guess again, who would have thought a fucking reality TV star would fucking win the country? And it really literally came down to about 60,000 votes in 3 fucking states. So, it is what it is. I mean, I hope, that people be more educated at this time around. I mean, look, I don't typically vote Republican, but at the end of the day, if it's the policies that you truly are behind, any Republican would have done what this motherfucker has done. All he's done is hurt our standing in the world, because now we are no longer the absolute leader now, because we allow China, we allow Russia to get to different places and to take the lead, because we've had this fucking, America first. Look, man, the last 30 years we've been outsourcing our fucking work. And that was what we as a country decided. Like, you're not going to change that in fucking 4 or 8 years. You're just going to get yourself further behind the 8 ball if halfway through if at some point during your transition you decide to pull back. Like, and that, the sad part about that is a lot of people don't see that. And if you're in middle America, these, Midwestern states, look, man, the jobs ain't coming back, man. It just is what it is. And fucking Obama and goddamn, Hillary Rodham Clinton told your ass they're not coming back. And if they do come back, you're not gonna get paid what they were getting paid, in the 90s or the early 2000s. It's done. You're gonna have to either invest in some type of schooling, or you're gonna have to decide you gonna have to move. This is what it is, and that's the conversation that the country is not going to have. With that said, as far as COVID-19 is concerned, man, I had this written down, so I kind of want to. We've been on this shit a while.
Yes.
Future thoughts on it, kind of like where I think it's going to go. Truth be told, man, I feel we're gonna. It's one of those things. It's going to be like the fucking flu. Like, the next year or so is going to be rough, because we don't have technically a vaccination. Like, I can't tell you the last time I took a flu vaccination. Like, but until we have something like that where we can sort of get this terminology of herd mentality, where as long as 40% of the country or 40% of your population is vaccinated against it, it pretty much inoculates the population from it. Until we get to that, it's going to be one of those things where you're going to just have to deal with the risks. And, this next, like I said, the next year or so is going to suck. You know what I'm saying? Because probably not going to be able to go to too many football games, basketball games. Concerts are going to get canceled and shit. So, but, back in 20.
May I add to this?
Go ahead.
I think this is what I think is going to happen in the future. Okay, I think the airline industry has changed permanently.
Yes.
Because I think companies have found out how to survive without exorbitant and like unnecessary expenses like travel expenses, which has essentially propped up the airline industry.
True. Yep.
Over all of these years. So I think that you're going to see airline prices start to go up.
Yes.
A lot,
Yes.
and a lot of people just won't travel as much. I think social networking will become virtual now. It's the new normal. For instance, like we had the phone call on Zoom and whatnot, and it was good, but I think that's going to be the new normal with everything. I think touching will become taboo. I think that also the future. I think we're starting to realize how important and unimportant some jobs are. And that some people have been propped up.
That's coming. That's essentially what I was talking about
that now.
The Midwest. Like, yo, the motherfucking jobs ain't coming back, dude.
Well, yeah, right. But a lot of unimportant jobs, we're starting to realize that, wow, I don't actually need this job, and some jobs obviously are important. Also, there will be like a cultural and political depolarization, which what we've been talking about, where we realize now that there's less individualism and more communalism to where I think we'll realize how much we need to work together. Then now working together is what we'll need to push forward with all of this. I think even past the COVID-19, I think we'll have to engage in that type of social agenda, which is just work together versus this whole racism, sexism, culturalism, and all these things. I think it'll be a lot less of that. And something Jacory, I think, said earlier was expertise. I think it was Jacory or Antoine, but we need to listen to professionals more and give them more credibility in things they say versus just our opinions about things. So I think given that, and also I think the big obvious thing is big government, which I think the government will get bigger after this thing settles down, which will not be good for the American people.
Fellas?
You know, I'll say this. I'll add to that point about expertise and leaning and really leaning on people who are experts in their area. Right? Is that right now? I see it as, you know, we're in the middle of the information age, right? Where information is available,
Yes.
where everybody can open up a phone, you know, not a book written by somebody, not a academic, you know, research. People can open up the internet and find a statement. It's not a fact, right? It's just a statement. And they can and form an opinion and form a decision from that. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now, and which is why I was disappointed in the government not taking, you know, the advice of experts, because it feels like what we do on a day-to-day, what we do at a bar is we open up Google, we Google something, and we find one link that says, oh, this ain't that bad. And I feel like Trump did that right before the press conference. And then walked into it like, oh, yeah, this ain't that big of a deal. It's like the flu. There's been worse flus. We'll be okay, right? And then this happens. So I think, you know, things need to kind of reset, man, to where, you know, I like the internet. I'm happy the internet exists. You know, it unites us in a lot of ways, but it also spreads, you know, a lot of misinformation. There's, at times, no checks, no balances to the information out there. And we're seeing right now how misinformation can cripple and really put a nation in a bad place if the information isn't controlled. And, you know, without getting too deep into it, man, you know, I feel like we're kind of right now the blind leading the blind, because every new press conference, there's a new product that is a better product to fighting against this virus, you know, and it causes a spur of emotional and impulsive buying of that product, right? But then the product sells out, we don't have enough of it, whether it be hand sanitizer, alcohol, etc. And now it's jumping over to the face mask and all that stuff. But then they all lead all these statements with, you know, this doesn't really prevent you from testing. It's like, so why is it, you know, why are you just telling me something to comfort me in the moment? You know, why are you giving me a Band-Aid kind of a solution, which then in turn I think causes a little more of a panic, because again, the nation wasn't prepared to have to need these,
it wasn't,
you know, these items. So now it's just, you know, we're just jumping from one thing to another thing to another thing. I just kind of wish that, you know, somebody would come out and just take ownership, take leadership, and say, hey, this is where we're going to get the information from.
Wow.
We'll do the best that we can do. And just admit to, you know, the blunder that was how this all was initially handled.
But that's,
and admit that we're behind the 8 ball on this. And it's going to take some time to get through it.
But that's like
but
the problem.
They're going to be the source. And they're going to be the source, and they're going to be the leader, and, you know, they're going to be the one to vet as much as they can before issuing it out. And rather than having, Joe Schmo and Jane Doe and whoever else, write a blog and tell us what's better for us right now. 'Cause I'm not feeling it, man.
But Corey, that's the problem, man. You got this neophyte in office who all he knows is to make the fucking sale. And tell me one time this motherfucker actually said, yeah, that was on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's time. Like, in every presidential cycle, besides this asshole, where the president had to own his fuck up, he's never done it. And he will not.
No, I get it. But you know what he did do?
What did he do?
He just gave a bunch of motherfuckers he just gave a bunch of motherfuckers $12, $20, $400. He did that.
Yes.
To stimulate the economy.
Yeah, well.
That's a good segue, Ivy.
Hey, my bank account was stimulated earlier this week, so.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So, I guess with that said, man, we'll go ahead and we spent about 50 minutes on that. So I guess I take that back. We almost an hour. I guess we do need to spread our legs and limbs a little bit and move to the next topic. I'm gonna pass this over to you, Twan, because I know this is I know that was you, the stimulus package and how you had questions about how would it actually stimulate the economy. I mean, in that instance, I want you to go ahead and state for the record what your position was, and then I'm pretty sure the rest of us can come right back in on that.
Yes.
Yeah. So like everybody else, the government gave me some money that I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with it.
I didn't get much.
It's part of this.
I only got like almost $600.
Right. But okay, so here's the thing though. So the government gave Americans money to stimulate the economy, I'm assuming. So
Sure.
my question is, the government also told you to sit your ass at home. So if I'm supposed to sit my ass at home, how am I supposed to stimulate the economy by things that I would normally do? It sounds like I'm actually stimulating Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, anything that I can do virtually. I'm spending my money on that. Because all I'm going to do is online shop on shit I don't need. And I might go to Target and buy some more shit I don't need. But I just don't understand how that's stimulating the economy.
Okay. Do anyone who wants to jump in?
Every dollar you spend is stimulating the economy, first of all. So I don't care where you spend it, it's getting taxed.
Exactly.
And for instance, you have to get food. You have to go to the grocery store. That money is taxed, but also you are helping farmers who are still giving produce to grocery stores and things of that nature and whatsoever. You're buying all the things you need. So it's still stimulating the economy. Now, where that money is going to each individual pocket, we don't know that, obviously, because things have changed a little bit. A lot of people spend less on things they necessarily don't need, but your money is stimulating the economy, considering that you're spending it.
Okay, yeah.
So
Considering you're spending.
I guess
which
also
I guess makes sense.
I guess we also you have to understand that the economy, our economy, as opposed to like the China's and the India's of the world, we're a consumer-based economy. So basically, our economy is based on motherfuckers going out and buying and spending money. And if motherfuckers don't have money to do that, and technically speaking, they justified this stimulus to like help pay for rent and groceries, necessities, not necessarily going and buying shit, but we're still, technically speaking, again, a consumer-based economy. So if motherfuckers ain't out here spending money, like, the 22 million people that lost their jobs, they need to have some cash to like keep the economy somewhat afloat. So that in a nutshell, that's kind of the reason for it. Now, one thing I will say is, I'm a bit apoplectic about it because, we're already heavily in debt by this its administration's tax bill. This ain't doing nothing but exacerbating the Republicans' ultimate goal of making the government so in debt that we have to contract, and that's ultimate, their goal, or at least while we were still like in high school and college and right thereafter, the narrative was they wanted to make the government so small that they can drown it in a bathtub. And as much debt as we continue to get in debt, because this is another $2.2 trillion. I mean, someone's gonna have to eventually pay for this shit. They're gonna ultimately get to where they want to get to before, the majority of the country gets to what they view the country as. Because that Republicans is a loud minority in this country. It's just they play the game so much better, and I hate to get off the subject a bit, but that's this stimulus plan and these subsequent stimulus plans that's coming down, and even as a small business owner, what I'm saying, with those loans or whatnot, it's still, I know sooner or later someone's gonna have to pay that bill, and
Well, they're going to end up paying that bill. Now, I don't think it's all of us. I think it's
someone's got to pay for it.
No, we will, but I mean, they're just going to raise the taxes, and they'll recoup that $2.2 trillion.
That's what I'm saying.
Over multiple years.
So the thing about it is, taxes only. So I don't know. I think I probably had this conversation with Juju Corey a couple of times already. But the way the tax system is, our tax system is set up is for those that can pay to pay. So the fact of the matter is, if you're on the bottom scale of the tax structure, tax bracket, that means you actually have the ability to pay the least. So, in that instance, when we raise the taxes on you, you actually are being affected far more than the people that are at the top that can pay for it. So in that instance, and not only that, but on the flip side, those people at the top end actually are able to utilize the system a lot more than the people at the bottom. So they should pay more. You know what I'm saying? Because they be the ones that own the businesses, or even if they don't own businesses.
May I ask you a question?
Go ahead. Shoot.
Are you a 100% true capitalist?
Yes. I just,
okay.
My capitalist,
like okay.
I just put it like this. My capitalist beliefs have been born from traveling to different countries, particularly third world countries. And in my view, what separates us from those third world countries is the fact that we do have that safety net. And in order to have a safety net, someone has to pay for it. And if you happen to be one of these motherfuckers that's supposed to be the captain of the industry, the smartest motherfucker on the planet, I would imagine you'll find a way around your situation. So why are you tripping on paying taxes that essentially help you more than it helps the majority of people in this country? Because
let's be honest. I don't think anybody on this call needed that money that they sent to us.
No, I didn't necessarily need it.
Right? So they could have essentially just not, the tax bill, the stimulus tax could have been a lot lower.
So because I have two hats in the sense that, I got my MPA, MBA. So I study both sides.
All right.
So what they're necessary. So in a lot of instances, people that make a certain amount of money are in those industries that are heavily affected. So like the people on this call, our industries and our, salaries weren't affected. But there's people that are like in the service industry that actually made the same amount of money or similar that would be affected. And what you're trying to do is figure out a number, a nut, so to speak, that encapsulate the most need. And there's some people that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, I was listening to the Smirconich show, and it's a business owner. And she owns several, like, she never said exactly what franchise, but I assume it was like Subways. And she basically is like, yo, I used to make around $90,000 a year. But over the last 4 weeks, you know, essentially my shop's been shut. So in that instance, you are trying to catch those type of people as well. But in that instance, you just got to, you know, you got to take the good or the bad and set a number in that instance. So it's not, on one hand, I agree, but it's not a, you know, one fit, you know, what is it?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you're right.
You know what
I
I'm
got
saying?
a comment, but
I mean, they did this back in 08, right? So
Yeah. Well,
I look at
was
it
it
as
08 or
almost
was
like,
it like, I remember 04. 04, 06, something like that. I remember Bush did it. Because I remember that 600.
I don't think it was Bush. I think it was
Bush
like
did
the
it.
first.
Bush did it. Cause yeah, Bush did
That
it.
was a FEMA check.
Oh, I didn't
No,
get no
Obama
FEMA.
did it too.
I ain't get no FEMA check. I ain't getting no FEMA check.
Bush's,
Yes.
Bush's, you know, cabinet, but I think it was rolled out in like 08.
No, so I don't know. You know, we may be talking about two different things, but I distinctly know Bush did it because he gave everyone a quote unquote tax break, because over the like 5 or 6 years since, like, over like Clinton's, because, you know, you always hear Clinton had a surplus.
Mm-hmm.
He actually had the surplus, and essentially what Bush did was get that surplus back to us, but we still was in debt. It's just over like a 6 to 8 year span, we had extra money, and so Bush just gave that back to us. That's what he did. I know Bush did it, and I think that was like maybe 06, 07.
But hold on now, because Trump did the same thing.
Yeah, but
Be real.
but
When Trump got in office,
but-
all of y'all checks went up.
What I was getting at is that it's happened before, and it was in 08. I don't know what part of 08 it was, but I think in
You got
essence
money?
what it is it's almost like it was 08, bro.
you got money, G?
In 08?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
it was 08. G.
I don't remember that.
But in essence, all it is, it's almost like, you know, I think of it as like default overhead, man. It's just, we're going to put this amount of money in circulation so that there's not a complete shutdown.
But that's what it is.
Economically within a nation.
That is what it is.
So,
Because business is not going to do it. The private sector is not going to do it.
Say what?
I said because the private sector won't do it. The private sector that's the difference between the two. You know what I'm saying? If you're not making a profit, I'm not spending money. So someone had to spend it, and the government, because it's more of a service industry, you know, about the welfare, they can justify spending the money.
But to that point, I think that's one of the things I have a problem with, right? Because you said the government is a service industry. But I have to argue the government is a disservice industry. Because, I mean, the stimulus package literally could be looked at as if you're trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. And we've had this conversation before, but if you really wanted to worry about the people, giving some ignorant motherfucker $1,200 or $2,400 is equivalent to me to putting a loaded gun in a baby's hand. You're not helping them, like, because you didn't teach them how to circulate their own money. You didn't teach them financial literacy. You gave them the tools to keep habitually doing the dumb shit they've been doing.
But that's not the point of them giving them $1,200 for it. The point was to stimulate the economy.
To stimulate the economy. The point was to perpetuate what you normally do so that we can keep this economy afloat. Because the economy is based off of ignorance spending.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The overall point that you're making is, yes, they want to continue the cycle of, you know, consumer spending that we had going on, so that a lot of these big private firms don't go under and put us in a,
even worse spot.
economic default.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not
Yes.
bettering nobody. They're not teaching us how to spend money and not teaching us to invest it. You don't hear nobody saying, "Hey, make sure you invest your 1,200." Right there, the stock market is down.
Yes.
Now would be a perfect time to invest that. That'll double back. They're not saying that. They're saying take that money. If you needed to pay your rent, pay your rent. If you needed to pay for your gas or clothes or whatever, pay for all that stuff. So yeah, it's not meant to create wealth
Yes.
at this time. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's literally just meant to keep the economy and the private sector afloat so that those boys don't go under.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens to us happens to us.
Well, as a person that really didn't need the money, that shit went from a checking to a savings. I ain't simulating shit. But I appreciate it.
I feel you on that.
Yes.
All that shit did was add it to my savings. Cool. And if they won't give me $2,000 a month, I'm gonna add to my savings and my
Wait a minute. Also,
portfolio.
are they gonna keep giving every month or something?
They working
No,
on
the
something.
Democrats have a plan
They
to
working on
give
something.
$2,000 a month for 6 months. That's more debt. Cool. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna save the money. I'm gonna go buy me a house in Africa. 'Cause I kind of feel like one day I just might need to go back to Africa. This shit is gonna be over.
Hey man, let me tell you, South Africa, you can get a nice penthouse loft for about $70,000.
Yo, we need to talk, bro. Because I was online looking at houses in Africa. So check it. We're gonna get to this later. But I was watching Queen Sono, and I was like, damn, Joburg is nice.
I watched Singing Sono too, man. Yeah, she's alright. I like her.
They got some
Yes.
nice shit in Africa, bro.
Hey,
Ivory
I was out
Coast.
there. I was out there. I saw it, dog, right in the heart of the financial district, bro. Penthouses going for about 70 to, you could say about 30 to 70 grand.
I'm
USD.
getting one. I'm getting fucking. We gonna talk after this. We gonna get to that.
Yes.
Well, you know, Joburg is dealing with an AIDS crisis right now, so I don't know, bro.
Well, I mean, these niggas married,
fucking
G. Hey, G, these niggas married, man. So they good.
Hey, man, I'm not. I'm just saying. You know, I get that.
I think most of Africa is under that same crisis.
True.
But,
True.
just, protection, man. Dress up, and that's for y'all single boys, as for me, I think it's without saying.
Yes.
Especially since it's being recorded.
Yes, sir. I understand. You know what I'm saying? We get that. With that said, I guess y'all have anything else to say about that?
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, with that said, we're gonna move on to probably the topic I've been looking forward to, and we took an hour and a half to get to this motherfucker.
Oh man.
Do black people play the victim? It came from
God.
at Anthony Neal. Was that what it was on Tony?
So I got it from a Instagram channel. It's Talk Black Media. Real good content for anybody that wants to check it out. But there was a panel of black, some entrepreneurs, some just in professional spaces, and the moderator asked, "Do black people play the victim?" And I thought we should bring that conversation here and open it up for multiple perspectives.
All right. Anyone want to start, or you want me to start? What are we gonna do?
Yes.
So I'll get my
Are you
opinion first.
asking?
I gotta jump
Yeah,
off
yeah.
here.
Let just Corey get in first. There.
So I watched the video, man, and the first thing I thought was, and I think one of the gentlemen said it, it's kind of a loaded question, right?
Yes.
But without getting in too deep with why I think it's a loaded question, I'll say that I don't think so, but I think there are black people that do take that stance.
Yes.
So as a whole, I would say no. I would say, we are in fact, living living in a system that wasn't designed for it. You know what I'm saying? And to call it, playing a victim by simply pointing out, the active inequalities that exist around us, that's not a victim mentality. You know what I mean? A victim mentality is everything is fair, and say something is directed towards me that isn't necessarily, I think, detrimental, but I'm making it seem like it was purposely targeted towards me or purposely meant to hurt me, when that is not necessarily the case. So this whole situation, I think is, historically, has been set up against.
Yes.
Whether it be, the 3/5 vote to, at one point slaves considered property, and all the redlining, and we could get into a whole bunch of policies that are set up against us. It's not playing the victim if you say, hey, I can't get this because you set it up to where it requires, a certain amount of proxy votes or something like that, and that's just not how the community is set up. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about voting earlier, and it's like how many people, actually use that right correctly or use it at all, right? And if they don't use it, then maybe that, what's the point I'm trying to, and if they don't use it, it shouldn't be looked at, as you move on without us, right? And you set up a system and structure it without our voice because we're not, for whatever reason, using that system, right? And that's what I think. You got to kind of separate that question a little bit and ask it in a different form and be a little more specific with it. But overall, no, I think the ones that are calling the system to the mat, they're just simply, we're educated and we can see the fuck shit.
Yeah,
and by calling out the fuck shit, we're not playing the victim. We're simply telling you, like, yeah, I see the bullshit you're doing, and I'm still making do with it, but I see it, and that's fucked up.
It's one of those things where it's sort of like, you don't set the rule for the exception, and in this case, the exception is playing the victim. Like, if the rule is there's fuck shit going on and I'm calling it out, well then, no, we're not being the victim. We just calling this shit out. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I felt sort of, the particular video that we were referencing, I kind of felt like the one young man in that video kind of fell victim to, what I would imagine, the masses would want you to do. Like, oh no, people do play the victim. If you work hard enough, you'll get past that. And while I agree to the most part to that, but I also definitely think that there are things that we as men of color have to overcome that similarly educated men of lighter complexion don't. And whether you want to admit to it or not, that's unfair. Just period.
I'm talking to you, G.
Yes.
G is the light-skinned brother on the line today.
I'm a nice caramel.
Yeah, Ivy, I think the young dude, I think he kind of responded too quick. I don't think he asked for clarification on the question.
True. But
I honestly think he was aligned with what other people were saying. I think he took the bait for the question at the surface level and didn't really think about it. He personalized it and equated it to some of the things he went through and what he saw as being a victim, which is, I'm in the same class as some of my homeboys, but they goofing off and I'm not goofing off.
True. That's fact.
And
but that goes with everyone though. People, that go to predominantly white institutions or schools, same thing. Those boys goof off too. It's just, the negative aspects of what happened along the way doesn't necessarily fall on them like it does in our neighborhoods. But, it is what it is. I mean, Do I think we played the victim? No. It just so happened in this country we have been the victim. It just is what it is.
Yeah, and I was going to say that too. Your last point, and then I'll shut up. Is that the irony is that we are the victim.
Yes.
So it's like I don't know why there's a negative, stigma to it. If playing the victim by calling out, situations that you see that was set up against us, when we are literally the target in the setup. It's like you designed this so that we would be victims. And now that we've, grown in knowledge and intellect, and we can call you out on it, you're trying to use reverse, or reverse psychology on us to no, you're playing victim. No, I am the victim in your setup. I'm not smart enough to see it now.
And I guess,
you know what I mean?
And I guess to go a step further, again, I kind of mentioned it earlier. I studied the public sector. So in saying that, if for all intents and purposes, the government is a winner-take-all circumstance. In that instance, whoever's in power is able to put laws and provisions in power in place to affect their constituent. And in this case, I mean, shit, bro, over the last 270, 300 years, who's been in power? I mean, it's not there for us. It's not there. It's not meant to affect us. It's meant to positively affect, the majority at that time. So, if you actually know what you're talking about, you would know that, hey, the system is meant to go to the majority. And in this case, the majority is the majority. And it's been that way since the beginning of this country.
So do what you got on that before I speak.
Oh, what do black people play the victim?
Yes, sir.
I don't think so at all, actually. I think that we are substantiated in our perspectives of what's happening to us in society today. And I mean, to me, this was an easy topic, though. I mean, I don't think I think the only people who think we play victim are people who are actually oppressing us. And they use that as a tactic to control us so that we don't complain and we don't speak out so that they can continue doing what they're doing. Those are the only people who say we play victim. But, I don't play into that. So, I mean, no, of course we don't play victim.
Tony?
All right, so I agree with everything that all of you men said on this.
What you got to say, though, nigga? You got something crazy.
I think, no, it's not even crazy. It's just really.
That's the half truth right here.
It might be a little hot take, half truth. I don't know. So here's my take on this. I think we got to start from the beginning of the question, right? Just as they did in the segment, my idea of playing the victim is you making some shit up. You're not a victim.
Yes.
Right? You playing a victim. So in the question itself, I don't believe that we can play victim. With that being said, I agree with you, Court. We are victims. I think what we do and the actions that we exhibit, we're exhibiting the actions of someone that has been victimized. Now, we talked about the policies that are in place, and we talked about how the argument from the other side is if you work hard, you can gain success just like anybody else. That applies if the policies that are written may not be written for you, but you can take advantage of them. But when the policies are written to directly victimize you, then the point of the policy is it doesn't matter how hard you work, you will not bear the fruit positively of this policy.
Yes.
May I ask a question, Florence?
Go ahead.
Give me an example of a policy that held you back. Currently, kid.
Well,
give you an example of a policy. So, and that's the question. That is the fundamental disconnect I have.
The thing about it is, honestly, you don't know. In a lot of instances, you don't know what policy held you back. Like,
no, that's not true.
Because the fact of the matter is, it could be something like the fact that your grandparent couldn't get a fucking house. get that mortgage on that
Right.
house that they could have owned that now would be worth fucking $1 million. $1 million in this economy that they would have passed
I
on to
think
their
that's
kids.
my point.
You
I think
don't
that's
know.
my point. If we looked at it from a static point of 2020 or even 2010, your question, I would have to say, there's no policy in place that I can't succeed. The problem is the policies that are in place today
Or at
are
least you don't
written
think
for
you can
people
succeed.
that I don't think I can see. The policies that are in place, they're written for people that have an inherent mindset based on generational evolution. And from a systematic standpoint, I just believe that we have not been able to positively evolve to reap the benefits of those policies, right? I got to work 10 times as hard to level set equality based on against somebody that is a fucking numbskull and has nepotism shooting out of their ass their whole life, right? And when I stand next to them, it tells the story that, yeah, we've overcome. As a country, we're equal now. Motherfucker, you have no idea what I went through. You made a call and Johnny got a job that I had to speak 3 different languages and have all of these accreditations on my resume just to get a shot. I think,
But that's not a policy, though.
I use the word
that's
policy.
systematic, though.
Right.
That's
I
the
use the
system.
word policy, but I'm talking about
But
things that are in place by people of power.
So
That's all I mean.
but also, look, G,
But,
growing up where we grew up, all of us grew up, in places that were more policed than others. I mean, that policy affect people in your community, if not you directly, people in your community. And if you fucked around and got in the wrong car or was hanging out on the block with the wrong person, could it affect you? And
Hey, Ivy, a good
Go ahead.
example. I don't mean to cut in real
Go
quick,
ahead,
but
go
I mean
ahead,
a
go
good example is just the requirement for a certain degree,
True.
right? Is that by saying that I need a degree to get some entry level job, you're in essence cutting out lower income.
True. Or at least people that
like
don't think
having-
they can get those degrees. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Is that doesn't mean that I'm not as educated or something, but maybe I came up in a family that doesn't have the money to send me to college, and I don't have the means to readily available to get that access to that money to go to
Or
college.
even have the knowledge that there are like loans that you can go to school, because like that's something that was kind of new to me till I got there. Like, oh shit. So it was like I was about 2 or 3 years into college when it was like, actually, if you graduate from college, there's no fucking reason for you not. If you graduate from high school, there's really no reason for you not to go to school. Like, you can go if you want. You just have to own up to the fact that when you're done, you're gonna owe someone some money.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta hop off, fellas. I gotta run to another meeting, man. But yeah, we definitely gonna get up, huh?
Yes,
Gotta
sir.
get up and talk, bro.
Appreciate you,
Yes,
man.
sir.
We appreciate your time, baby.
Yeah. Y'all boys be easy, man. Everybody continue to be safe during this time, man. I want everybody to make it through this COVID stuff healthy and unimpacted, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
Same
Yes.
to you, bro. Same to you.
All right, bro.
All right, my brother.
All right, man. Y'all boys
Talk
be
to you
easy.
next week, baby.
Yeah.
Again, reach out to us via social media, IG, Twitter at HT Square Pod, on YouTube, Facebook, and SoundCloud at Hot Takes and Half Truth Podcast. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, share button. It's really big for us. With that said, moving back to the conversation though, but like, yo, man, as far as being victims, man, that I agree with what you were saying earlier. I think it was you, Tony. It was you. One of y'all was saying that that's a self-deprecating prophecy of someone that's actually victimizing us. It makes them feel comfortable. Like that's essentially, my feeling. I think I said this on our earlier podcast. My feeling, holistically, is the fact that this country hasn't actually dealt with what we did, what we as a country did to people of African descent in this country. You know, you can say whatever you want to say.
And continue to do.
Let me, okay, like, I want to ask Antoine a question. Let me ask you a question. Okay. Antoine, let's say you were the CEO of a company, right?
Yes.
And you have a homeboy, one of your boys, whatever. They are not that qualified, but they are, you know, whatever. They can survive in your company in some capacity. And you're really close to this guy. Would you hire him?
See, your problem with that perspective, G.
Yeah. No. Let's play this out. We're gonna play it out.
I hate to let me just jump in. You do what you want with that, but the problem with that is that's not necessarily the problem. The problem is overwhelmingly the people in those positions don't identify with us. So the only people getting hooked, only people getting hooked up don't look like us. So we constantly on, you know what I'm saying?
But that's my point. Is
which is exactly
when you're on top, you do what the fuck you want to do.
True.
But when you're at the bottom, you want to complain when it's done to you.
Exactly. Yeah. But again, how can you be a victim if you actually only point out what's going on? But what you said, like, I don't like. For instance, I don't have no issue with that. I technically don't have no issue with that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna hire you're gonna hire people that fit your culture, one way or another. But the problem is when you deal with people who have limited experience with different people, they tend to, you know what I'm saying, ostracize or not give those people opportunities, which is what makes companies have to take these diversity stances.
I guess, but like I said, even for me, if I was the CEO of my own company, and let's say one of you said, "Hey, G, can my son intern at your company this summer?" What you think the answer is going to be?
You gonna tell me no, man? You don't love me, man? You don't love my? You don't love your nephew, man?
But that's not.
You don't love your nephew, man?
Argument, G. Hold on, G, because that's not the argument. I wanna ask you this question, and I need you to speak outside of you because I know you, but just in general for a black person, right? Black CEO. Black man walks in your office, you don't know. You don't know. He does okay in the interview, but he got a couple of professional etiquette issues. You hire him?
Personally, if another candidate was obviously better than him, I would probably hire the other candidate. But I will be lying about that. I won't be remorseful in doing that.
Right. So, but here's where I'm going with that. When I say we exhibit victimization, I think that goes across a far palette. And that's from making excuses that the white man is keeping us down, which I don't think that's bullshit. I think we're exhibiting things that victimized people exhibit. At the same time, I think when we find success and another black person comes in front of us and we automatically believe, this nigga about to embarrass me, you also are exhibiting traits of someone that has been victimized. And that same person that we can run this rhetoric of support black business, but the minute you go in a black business, you think to yourself, this shit is about to be half-assed, exhibiting traits of someone that has been victimized. I think this shit is, my point is, this shit is so much deeper than just what has happened to us. I think the effect of what has happened to us over generations has reverberated within our community and outside the community, which basically makes us look just completely.
So to kind of piggyback off that, I always find it funny how, you know, white people can always marvel at like a salmon or an elephant about how they could instinctually over thousands of years know how to do certain things. Like the salmon know exactly where he goes back to from the time he was born to the time he dies, or the elephant never forgets something, or some other creature or animal instinctually know, like, oh, if I see red on this type of person, I don't want to go. Like, you know, for instance, the I forget the tribe name, but they wear red, and in that area, lions are scared of them because they actually hunt lions, like to prove that they're brave. So in they particular area of Africa, like the lions actually run away from them. You know what I'm saying? So in that instance, if you are willing to accept that these lesser species can instinctually, you know what I'm saying, over time learn shit, why the fuck can't the most, you know, advanced creature on this planet have the same? You know what I'm saying? Which caused us to want to, you know, when we finally get some money to show that we got money. You know what I'm saying? Or to be how we are, just as a culture. You know what I'm saying? Loud, like to have a good time, you know, joke, sing, dance, you know, how having, or just, you know, just feel less than. You know what I'm saying? Just from the 400 years that our ancestors went through. You know, like, if you are willing to admit that some lesser creature can do that, why can't we do that? Why can't humans do that? Or at least in my mind, I don't think, I don't think as that's as acknowledged as, you know what I'm saying, readily acknowledged as they are other places. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
But
Go ahead.
I do believe that there's a flip side to this coin.
Go ahead.
In that, in my opinion, we are victims, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are victims. But I think if you ask the masses of black people, they just not ready to readily accept the fact that, no, you're a victim. You may suffer from PTSD, right?
Yep.
Now, what are you going to do about it? How do we fix that? Because if I went with the argument, the white man is holding you down. All right, we got that. Cool. Bet. That's not about to change. What the fuck are we going to do to change this? Because I can't continually open my front door and yell out the door and say, why you ain't coming in and cleaning this fucking house? And all my neighbors is looking at me stupid, like, why the fuck should I clean your house? Like, at some point, we got to take accountability and say, yes, we are victims.
So,
yes, we have this happened to us, but we have the means to close circle and build our community back up.
potentially. I mean, in general, I would agree with you. But I would say one of the issues with that is, to kind of circle back, make the full circle on this, is we need actual systemic change. And we all know we can't be the ones to make the systemic change. We just gotta, our approach, and it has been our approach for over the last 100 years or so, is to bring light to it and hope that the masses get on our side. So
now I got to lean to G's point, though, because I agree with you that statement was made 20, 30 years ago. Today, you really believe we can't make systemic change?
No.
I mean,
not by ourselves.
And this is why.
Not by ourselves.
Okay, so let's look at numbers.
Look at every legislature in this country. Look at the Congress. Mm-hmm. Who's in power? Mm-hmm. Do they look like us?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. I know we're behind enemy lines. But what I do also know is legislation is no longer writing to overtly oppress.
Mm-hmm. True.
They are just leveraging the ignorance that we have based on previous oppression. So my point is this. There's about 41 million of us in this country.
Yep.
Right?
About 40 million. Yep.
About 41 million of us in this country. That's about 13%.
Yep.
I don't know what the numbers are in terms of monetary value, but I feel like we have enough education
we have enough education to build a infrastructure internally to to at least reap the benefits in 10 years, 15 years. I'm not saying we're going to overcome tomorrow, but we can start now building community centers that don't focus on basketball completely, but focus on wealth, health, and happiness. That still focus on athletics. So we start molding our children as the ultimate species that they are.
Well,
so that 15 years from now,
the problem though is that our institutions are publicly funded. So
what do you mean
I know
by
you're
that?
saying
When you say institutions, you talking about schools?
Black colleges,
yeah. For the most part. I mean, that's some private
whatever
ones,
whatever the case may be.
Yeah. But this is the thing. Your point in saying that is what? I need to understand the point that the public is funded and they're not given enough money.
No,
I mean, like if you had black private colleges that's funded based on alumni giving back and there's
we need to get back
great investments and things like that, then yeah, we can do all these things. But when your money is earmarked as government money, then the people who you're trying to break away from, they do control your existence as far as the institutions you're speaking of.
And then you also got to take into account, so one thing to kind of piggyback off G, we do need to get back to our institutions more. That's number one. Like, that's one thing that, the majority does a lot better than we do. But specifically, then we, when you look at us, because we're such, a minority, because Tony, when we got to Southern, bro, literally 1 in fucking 4 black engineers went to Southern. Like, you know how small, and Southern we never really graduated like hundreds of engineers.
Right.
But in 2000, we literally could say as a college that 1 in 4 black engineers in this country went to Southern, came through these walls. That's crazy. Yep. That's just telling you we're not, and in order for us, and I think we even talked about this on the last podcast, in order for us to elevate, we have to get in those type of jobs. But we're not going to that. We're going to like education and other shit. So maybe business even. But what I say is this: in our culture, there was a significant amount of us that actually kind of made it was like, yo, I need to do this for myself. So it wasn't about pulling along. It was about me getting me. And that actually, I feel like, exacerbated the circumstance, as opposed to what you're kind of saying as far as we all need to kind of give back. Well, you know what I'm saying? In the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, it was just sort of like, let me get me. Because, if it's only going to be one, I want it to be me. That type of shit.
And I get that. I think my thing is this. I think the Black Wall Street of the past are things that we should be revisiting.
True.
Because I really want to see what it looks like today. Because I just don't think today motherfuckers gonna readily just blow up shit. They might still be afraid of black wealth, but at least I think we have an opportunity today to recreate shit that we had before and see how well it resonates now. Stop talking about it as if it's just something that happened in the past, and we focus on the fact that the white men, the government, literally blew up a profitable black infrastructure. Why are we not talking more about how that black infrastructure was actually established? How did it function? How did it thrive? How can we replicate it? And then we just straight step and repeat.
That's what a lot of, your Hotep brothers and sisters would say, how, what is it? Segregation actually helped us and how integration hurt us. because
I'm not opposed to that argument.
we had to, do it. But look, I agree with you on that. We should try to do that shit, man. It's just, and I'm not even gonna make no excuse for it. We should try to. We shouldn't. It goes back to what I said earlier about like our institution, Southern University. We should be investing in that, even if it's just a $25 or $35 a month type deal. We should be giving back. Like the majority of alumnus should do that, and that's the one thing that I feel like, at least at Southern. I can't speak for other HBCUs. I can only speak to Southern. It's always like, it seems like everyone that gets out, at least from our age and maybe a little earlier, it's like, I got me, and now I'm out to go get me, and not to look back. You know what I'm saying?
I'm one of them. I fucked over Southern. I ain't gonna lie. I need to give them some more money.
So that's the one thing that's the one thing I will say. My little experience at LSU taught me is like they big on it. Like, and not only is it because like Southern don't do a good job of fucking reaching back out. Like LSU actually goes out and try to reach back out to you. I still get emails from LSU. You know what I'm saying? Like, these motherfuckers email me now.
I don't think I ever got an email from Southern.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of that is on the institution itself, but at the same time, it's one. It's
but
like
at
that.
the same time, it shouldn't be on them. It should be on us.
But so I'm about to say, if you know better, you do better. So in that instance, if you know that there's ways of doing better, so that in that instance, like, I feel like I should get more involved. So I can be like, yo, dude, this is how these motherfuckers do it, and they seem to be far above what we're doing. Even if it's just like $250 a year, that's literally like $25 a month. You know what I'm saying?
All right, but here's the thing, G. You're right. I agree. When you know better, you do better. From what Joe said, but honestly, it's a convenient thing now. If I had SU in my inbox and calling me every month, at some point I'm gonna be like, take this fucking money, leave me alone. But the fact that it's out of sight, out of mind, I'm just like, when we had these conversations, I'm like, I gotta do more. True. So fuck. I mean, they ain't asking for it.
And I also agree.
Amazon got it.
I know
it's fucked up, but it is.
I know one of our LBs, your homeboy Tony. He's so down on the university, bro. Like they gonna spend it. They gonna spend it any. They gonna spend it any kind of way. I'm like, dude, we have to get involved. We gotta be involved, so we tell them how we expect them to spend this money. Like, if you just give them money, they're gonna spend it the way they want to spend it. Like, just like you would.
But again, that comes with the responsibility.
Exactly.
That comes with us making the point that because we are SU alumni or because we are SU engineer alumni, we will take the responsibility to go back and make a change.
True.
And we ain't had that meeting. So,
True. True.
Because I think it would be egregious for me to just, and they would take it. I could give them $250, $500 and go on by my life.
Yep.
And I didn't do shit. I didn't make an impact.
Nope.
I felt better in that moment. Or I could go back to Dr. Smith or go back to whoever's heading the department now and say, how can I impact you? How can we strengthen the gateway from these young students to my corporate life so that when they start interviewing, the hiring managers feel compelled to hire them.
Yeah.
Right?
And some of that is coaching.
Oh, most definitely. Some of it's coaching, some of it's relationship. I think we could do a better job strengthening that gateway. Or I could just give Southern $500, they give me a card and a T-shirt, and I'm going by my business.
True.
But I didn't really do that.
True.
Hey man, I want to say something Ja'Cory said earlier. I want to piggyback on that, which is this is a loaded question. Do black people play the system? Because
Yes.
I don't think this question is fair because some black people do play the victim.
Yeah,
And
but
they're warned.
again, but that's what I said earlier about it's about the rule and the exception. You know, you don't make the rule for the exception. In this case, the exception is the black people that are playing victim. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, yeah, right.
the
because
rule
you have
is
some that
we've
literally-
been the victims.
Right. I don't feel like I'm a victim. I don't think any of you feel like you're a victim.
I mean, here and there.
Hold
I
on
mean,
now,
I
goddamn it!
I have my
I
situations.
have been victimized.
Yeah, I
I
have
have
my
been
situations.
victimized.
I've had my situations.
Don't get me wrong. We all have situations, but I mean, I don't
What-
know. I personally don't walk around like I don't think any of you walk around like you're a victim. I
No.
think you just overcome
No, but
your circumstances.
I acknowledge that there's some challenges that I had to overcome.
But do you play the victim?
No, I mean, dude,
Well, again,
like,
see,
and
that's
so
my point.
so
That's my point.
that's the difference. So the difference, I guess, in that instance is, you know, most of us, like people like in our situation, when we do become victims, it's like, all right, well, I learned. That won't happen again.
Right.
Moving on. You know what I'm saying? Whereas soak on it and let that ruin your life. Because like there's situation that I've been in that if I would have decided to let it win and soak in it, it could have taken over me and I wouldn't be in the situation I'm in now. And I don't feel like I'm where I'm going to end up at, but I feel like I'm definitely on the way there. So, I mean, yeah, it's a
So
difference.
here-
Go ahead.
So, and I think we should try to close it, but here's where I am. I don't believe any black person can play the victim, because playing the victim means you're portraying something that is not true. Now, I think what we are saying is you have black people that you milking this victim shit a little much.
Yes.
Like for instance, and I apologize for jumping down on you, Tony.
No. Go ahead.
But like for instance, you know how they, you know, politically speaking, they always talking about those takers and givers. You know, we gotta do that something about these takers. And when they say takers, they always, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge about the black mom that's on Section 8 getting food stamps when majority of the people that's on Section 8 and food stamps is white. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you do have some that are milking that system. Like, know that long as they keep having kids, that they will continue to, like, that clock will start over, so to speak. Right. But you don't, again, that goes back to what I said earlier. Even in those instances, and it really bears fruit for this situation. You don't make the rules for the exception. You make the rule for the rule. People that are actually trying to get out that situation and are down on their luck. You're always gonna find a person, like, for instance, you know, God bless one of our brothers. Like, there's a certain retail company that took advantage of the fact that if they paid their employees a certain amount and they only got like 32 hours a week as opposed to 40, well then when they needed to get health care, they would have to fall upon the public sector and they wouldn't have to fund them. That was a loophole that they found. And this is one, again, these are the people that are smartest and brightest in the world. And they decided that this was the best for them. And they took advantage of a loophole. So if we're going to allow, you know, the captains of industries to take advantage of loopholes, I can't get mad at this one woman that decided that she don't have no ambition in her life other than to not have to work. Like, I had this conversation with this same individual. Like, yo, dude, why are you worried about them? Like, you don't want that life. Like, they literally can't do shit. Like, at least we can go. Like, if we want to go somewhere, we can go. Like, they literally, essentially, outside of about a 2-month period, which is around this time when they get taxes back, they can't do shit. But wait till the first and go ball out at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't hate, like, the old saying is it's easier to look down than to look up. And in that instance, it's, you look down at the people that's below you and saying, why y'all got all that? I'm working hard to get what I got. Why can't y'all work? As opposed to looking up to the people, like I was just saying, this same institution, you know what I'm saying? A very large retail institution took advantage of the system themselves to make millions, and we ain't worried about them. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but we can only control our house,
True.
right?
True.
I think the narrative. I think the point is we need to start controlling the narrative within our home. If you know your cousin ain't doing nothing but motherfucking having kids to stay on welfare, show a better way.
Hey,
we
bro.
get a plan to wean up fucking ass off this shit.
As the saying goes, baby, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Hey, Corn, are you a socialist?
Am I a socialist?
Yeah.
I consider myself to be a layered. I consider myself to be a very layered individual. I would not say that I'm a socialist because I'm not really in the label. Because I can have a very insightful Republican base. Because fiscally, if you're asking me, I don't like welfare at all. I don't like the concept of welfare. I think welfare creates a mindset that keeps black and brown people in place.
So the only reason why I step in on that one is because that's factually untrue in the sense that if 65-70% of the programs that we're talking about, whether it's welfare, Section 8, any of these assistance programs, go to white people, I mean, it sounds like it's keeping them more in check than it does, right?
Again, I'm not talking about what it does for other people. What I'm looking at is this. If we change the narrative to say, it's not bad that you're on welfare.
Well,
use it. Wait, hold on.
Go ahead,
use it to gain access to a better life. Then I don't have a problem with welfare.
So that's what it's supposed to be?
Stagnation of welfare is a problem.
But that's the thing. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. It's just people. But then when people get on it, they start gaming the system. But again, it's the same thing with corporate America. Like when they start getting those deductions, they find loopholes. In this instance, the individual found the loophole. I'm like,
my whole point is you are finding a loophole to the detriment of your household, generationally. Yeah, you're getting a quick fix, you're getting a tax credit, but you are keeping your household in a state of poverty. And my own point is this: if we close the circle as a community and say there is a better way, I want you to game the system. I want you to continue to fucking take this welfare. But you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna stop having kids that you can't afford. We're gonna take care of these kids that you got. We're gonna create a financial plan that we're gonna take this government money. We're gonna set a little bit of this aside for a rainy day. We're gonna take a little bit of this aside to make sure these four motherfuckers go to college or some vocational school. And what you're gonna tell them is, you're gonna make it, and you're gonna come back here, and you're gonna fix this neighborhood, block, blah, blah. And if we continue to do that, I think as a community we will thrive.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I mean, dude, again, I keep telling you this, and maybe this is my public policy background. You ain't gonna be able to save everyone, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about having
nobody.
He's a socialist.
It's not. See, that's socialist. Then that's socialism.
He's a black socialist.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, hey, don't put
sometimes
labels
you gotta have.
Do I have socialist tendencies? Maybe. Yeah. I'm not.
So I agree. I agree that, like, so for instance, I agree that I'm a progressive, but that doesn't mean that I'm by no means a complete liberal. I mean, I definitely believe we need to be able to pay for this shit. You know, in that instance, I have some leanings towards, the right side of the aisle. But the problem, as far as like me getting in line with them, is just the fact that they, one, don't believe as a whole, shall I say, as a whole, don't believe in science, and they kowtow to the religious right. And I have my beliefs. I'm definitely more spiritual than religious, but I definitely believe that we should do what's best for the masses. And in that instance, you're using more science than, what some religion tells you to do. And
so I want to make sure I'm subscribing to what you're saying, G, in terms of socialism. I'm not arguing for it against. I want to understand it before
I am partially joking with you, by the way.
Right. But I do want to. I want to further understand it so I know. Because my point is this.
Shoot it.
I believe that we do have a responsibility to educate our community.
True.
I also believe that I would prefer to teach you how to fish than to fish for you. I'm not bringing shit to your house, but I want to educate you how to bring shit to your house. Because the more shit you can do, the better we are as a whole. That's my take. Like, I'm not saying I need to take bread off of my table to feed you. I'm telling you, I need to come to your house and show you how to make bread so you can stop fucking calling me.
Well, unfortunately, that's...
No, I get that. I understand that.
I feel that, but at the same time, that's kind of what we do with taxes. We are taking food off our plate to help someone else. And,
I know. I know very well. That's why I ain't got no problem taking this fucking money.
Yes.
But with that said, y'all have anything else y'all got to say about that?
Nah, we can go on.
I think Torrance should give the stimulus money to somebody who actually needs it.
Yes.
I think if I gave stimulus money to somebody that actually needed it, I would be ripping them off. I'd rather give my time and talk to them than that is what I should.
I hear you, man.
Okay.
I hear you, man. We're gonna move on to a little lighter topic. We've been doing this 2 hours now. I guess we do need to kind of get a little bit. So, over the last month and a half, I mean, longer for you, Tony. You've been down a while.
I've been down, fellas.
A lot of people been picking up or spending more time in front of the tube, man. I guess I just wanted to see what you guys, have y'all watched anything over the last month or so that you thought was worth your while, as far as whether it's regular TV, movie, Netflixing, or whatnot?
Well, for me, on Netflix, I thought Ozark was pretty good.
Yeah. I fuck with Ozark. That was good. So you seen all of it, or you been up on it, or you just saw it last year?
I've been the whole thing, dude.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, Ozark good, baby. I fucked with Ozark.
Yeah, Ozark was really good. I thought Tiger King was whatever, dude. I don't know, man. About that movie.
I watched 1.5 episodes of Tiger King. But that was just because everyone was talking about it. I was like,
exactly.
I'm not interested in it no more.
Look, you got through 1.5. I think I got through 3 episodes of the shit, and I was just like, this is dumb as. I needed somebody to just tell me what happened, because this is the stupidest shit I had ever watched. I was just like, I don't give a fuck about this dude. This a gay white dude with a mullet hugging tigers. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? This is not my thing. It ain't got nothing to do with him being gay or having a mullet. I just don't want to watch this shit.
Yeah, I'm done with that. I was done with that. I was like, yeah, this is dumb.
Yeah.
I just haven't been back.
Yep. So right now I just started watching Black as Fuck.
That shit's dope.
On Netflix.
That shit's dope.
That shit hard right there, sir.
Yeah. I basically watched all of it last night, and I was like, I'm gonna leave the last 2 to tonight.
But you know what's so interesting about Black as Fuck? Like, Kenyon is kind of a genius, because all the motherfucker is doing, he literally made Blackish over with cursing. That's it.
Yeah. And he's
with cursing.
And he's quasi a bad parent.
Yeah, which is so real.
Hey, they bad parents. They like absentee parents for all intents and purposes. But
Right. Yeah, they are.
I do like that. I like the back and forth that like the older kids have with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part I'll be like, yeah, I hope that, you know, if I have kids when they get to about 16, we have that back and forth, a little bit of that back and forth, because then I know they'll be okay.
I actually like how they fuse the satire with an actual underlying subtle message.
Right.
In
Yeah.
the actual content. Like it's like
It's
all right,
slavery.
I can laugh at this, but this shit is real, right? And this yeah.
It's slavery.
I absolutely agree with that part. It's a really good show, man. But I've also don't get mad at me, dude. I've never watched Insecure. I just binged on it last week or 2 weeks ago.
We're not black women. We're not gonna jump down
we
your
ain't gonna
throat
judge you on
for
that,
not
man.
watching
I ain't gonna judge you on that. I mean,
I
mean,
only did it because my girl watches it. So
Okay.
you know, I watched it because of her, and she's really into it. I was like, okay.
that's tend to how that usually how it happens, man.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good though, man.
Yeah, it's good. Hey, I'm gonna watch the first 2 episodes tonight. After
Yeah, man. Yeah.
after what is it? What's that space age cowboy shit? Westworld, yes.
Westworld.
Yes.
Yeah, after Westworld, I'll watch that. Then I'll watch those 2 episodes and I'll go to bed.
Now, Last Dance comes out today too. The Michael Jordan.
Oh.
Gotta watch that.
I'll watch that tomorrow.
Yep.
That's Monday night. Monday night watching.
So I'll say this. Uncorked on Netflix.
That's not bad. That wasn't a bad
yeah.
one. Yeah, that was a pretty
Yeah,
good.
I saw that.
Uncorked. I've honestly been watching a lot of African-based movies on Netflix.
I heard you
don't
talk
even
about
know why.
Queen.
So Queen Sono was a good series. Like the perspective I got, I don't know if I was fully on the. And this is again, I'm exhibiting traits of someone that's been victimized, right?
Yep.
I don't know if I really just saw people in Africa was walking around, titties out, in fucking dirty dust slippers.
True. And
But
you know
when
the
I
funny
watched
thing about
Queen
it, dude?
Sono, I was like, damn.
And you know the funny thing about it is, you can say the same thing about people in Brazil. They look exactly the same, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly the
Yeah.
same. Like
So-
it was doing my study abroad in Sao Paulo when it really resonated. It was like, damn, there's so many black people here, and this shit, like it looked more metropolitan than fucking New York. Like literally driving into the city of Sao Paulo from the airport, from as far as the eye can see, all you see is skyscrapers from horizon to horizon. And it's like the shit never ends.
Dude.
Crazy.
Dude. I'm gonna throw something out here right now for next hot take and half truth.
Yes.
But it's only 41 million of us.
Yes.
We just went somewhere else collectively.
We ain't doing that now. We here now.
We're not doing it. It's not happening. But I'm asking.
I don't. You know. I
If
guess
we
for me, that'll be us giving them what they want. Fuck that.
I don't give a fuck about them.
Let's take what we want. This we made this country.
All right. We take what we want, right? We made this country. Blah blah blah. I got it.
I feel
Jay said, you made this one, make another one. I'm just saying.
right,
If you didn't shit all over this
you
country,
do realize it took us 400 years for that, right?
it took us 400 years for what?
To build this country.
All right. Yeah.
Like no, man, we ain't starting over now. These motherfuckers owe us. They owe
Hey,
us.
Dizzle,
Okay,
man,
right.
I just looked up Sao Paulo. You are absolutely right, dude. This shit is crazy.
Yeah, bro. Like,
I'm
dude,
telling you.
when I went there, cause you know you always hear, developing country.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
I got there, I was
Let me
like,
tell you
man, this shit. And then like a couple years later, that was the first time like I flew into New York, and I was like, dude, Sao Paulo was way more like crazier than this. Like y'all have y'all little sections and shit, but like literally driving into it from like the airport, like as far as the eye can see, from like horizon, like as far as the eye can see, all you see is skyscrapers. And it's like shit.
Yeah, dude.
And this is developing.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. Let me explain. I equate it like this, right? the black mindset about leaving America is equivalent to the black female mindset about dating outside of her race.
I wouldn't say that, man. I like my sisters wanting to hold down the race, man.
Niggas don't want to leave America.
I still want a sister. I mean, I hope to be able to do it. Like, man, that's one of my goals in my profession. To at least get a year or two out of the country.
You just said you want a sister. All right, great.
Yeah, I
and
did.
if Whitey was saying that I want the blackie, it might be a little better. But from the black perspective, my analogy is you could go somewhere else and live a better life, possibly, collectively. But from a mindset standpoint, we like, I'm not going no fucking well. I built this country. Fuck that. They owe me. Fuck that. You gonna stop harassing me,
So
pulling me over?
you
and
do
making
realize
me
we were
feel
talking
this way?
about what we was watching, right? Like, we had moved on
We was.
from the victim.
Y'all know who you
We had
fucking
moved on
you
from
know,
the victim.
I can take a Burger King conversation and make it fucking racist. So I told you to raise me the fuck
Like, obviously, like, you haven't seen Black as Fuck. It's all about racism. It's all about slavery, baby.
Yes.
Right, yeah, that was fine. Right. Everything's about slavery.
Y'all knew what y'all did when y'all called
Hey,
me.
you know the funny thing about it? Hey, just kind of to come back to real quickly on Black as Fuck. I don't know, like the first 2 or 3 episodes, the whole time I was like, man, this nigga really gives me Jay-Z vibes. And then you get to that episode where it's like, he look everything Jay-Z he loves. I was like, dude, I knew it. I knew it. Like, bro, everything all about your vibe. I was like, man, just like some Jay-Z, even with the haircut. Like, man, just like some shit Jay-Z would wear. Like, you biting.
By the way, I love his tracksuits, bro. He wears some nice tracksuits.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess I'll jump in there. I got a couple that y'all didn't mention. So Epic had a series that just started called War of the Worlds. It's another remake, but it's pretty fucking good.
Okay.
It was pretty.
Was that Netflix or Prime?
Epic. Yeah, Epic. Yeah, but it was pretty good. I mean, it was a new take on it because usually War of the World was in America, but this was like based in Europe. But they spoke English, put it like that. So it was very easy to follow, and but it was just another pretty good show that came out over the last year, over the last 6 weeks or so. Additionally, on Hulu, High Fidelity. Y'all seen that?
What's that about?
No.
So it's little Zoe Kravitz. She's the lead. I equate it to kind of I don't want this to sound bad, but it is what it is. I when I first watched it, I was like, it's sort of like a white version of She Gotta Have It.
But Zoe's the main character?
Okay.
Yeah, Zoe's the main character. Cause like
it ain't a white version.
It's when I say that, I'm saying like their version of the production wise. So they didn't go as deep as like Spike went with Nola Darling. How she was
Right.
over the top. Where she's more like I can see a white woman doing what Zoe did in this. She even dated a white
even
boy.
in the white version of it, they got a black girl.
Yes.
That's shit I be talking about.
Yes. But it was a dope. It was a pretty good show. I liked it. Now in the show, her and her brother are both, biracial. So I guess that's
Right.
plays into it. But I liked it because it had a lot of kind of like what She Gotta Have It. They brought in a lot of different music. She owned like a record store, so that was kind of like the base of the show, and she kind of she was kind of toxic. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole show was kind of about the 5 loves that fucked over her, but then like during the course of the season and kind of like she kind of realized certain things that she did, it comes to light. So that's how you can say like towards the end she's a bit toxic. But I thought it was a pretty dope show. I think you guys would like it if you checked it out. And then the last thing I guess of late, the Star Trek remake.
The Picard thing?
Yeah. So CBS.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
The CBS All Access is free for the next 30 days, so you may want to go ahead and jump on that because I'm probably gonna get off of it as well because I basically ran through it in the last week or so. But it was pretty good though. I liked it.
So as a man that pays way too much money for subscription, I actually have CBS All Access.
Yes.
Yeah, like I literally bought that shit because I needed to watch Tiger Woods play one day.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
And I kind of kept it.
Yeah, I mean it ain't much, but it just it adds up.
No, there's a show called All Rise. It's a pretty good show. It's about this like black judge and
gotcha.
shows the dynamic of court life.
I fucks with
but as educated black men, I would feel remiss if I didn't throw this curveball because I'm not just watching TV while I'm in this house. I have been catching up on some reading.
Okay, man, do your thing. And we had a section where what you reading, nigga. So is this the what you reading, nigga? What you reading section?
So I mean, if we're gonna do what you're reading, I'll hold it. I just didn't want to have this segment
Go ahead,
and your listeners think that we just watching TV. I mean, shit. All right, so I'm wrapping up a book right now. I tend to read 2 books at a time. So I'm wrapping up this book called Attached: The New Science of Adult Attachment. It's actually a very interesting read. If you want to understand how people interact and engage, and how they maneuver through intimacy, and I don't just mean in relationships, I just mean period. It's an interesting read. I'm about to start, and that's by Amir Levine and Rachel Heller. I'm about to start James Baldwin, The Evidence of Things Not Seen.
Okay.
Quick read, but I saw a young lady on Instagram was reading it, and I was like, oh shit, let me pick that up. I just finished Tanachi Coates' Between the World and Me. I thought that was really good.
I think my man brought that up last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, I'm catching up. Right.
What was it?
Between the World and Me.
I think
it's literally just like a monologue to his son.
Yep.
All right.
That was in the first what you are reading segment.
Okay. And finally, I finished this book called Sleep Smarter. I highly recommend.
Street Smart.
What's the name of it again?
Sleep Smarter. It's Sleep Smarter. 21 essential strategies to sleep your way to a better body, better health, and bigger success.
I may actually want that.
Spell it.
Spell it?
Yeah.
Sleep. SLEEP. Smarter.
Sleep.
SMART.
Like, go to sleep.
Right, go to sleep.
Oh, sleep smarter. Sleep.
Yes.
Okay.
Sleep Smarter. And
I actually want that.
I'm an analytical person, and the way he writes from a very analytical standpoint. He breaks down
I think most
what
of us
happens
here
to
are
your body
analytical.
when you which is why I'm offering this book. It is a very well written book, and it'll tell you how you sleep and how you should sleep. And I can tell you, I have reaped benefits from this book in terms of how I sleep now. Like, my sleep quality is so much better.
Good deal.
And that is Sean Stevenson.
Sean Stevenson. Let's write that down. That's Sean, S-E-A-N?
That's S-H-A-W-N.
Stevenson. Gotcha. G, you been reading anything?
Yeah, man. I read one book at a time. So right now I'm reading a book called Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Okay, I got that book. I need to read it.
Excellent. Yeah?
Yeah, I got that book. I need to read that book.
Yeah, so I've just started reading that. I'm like a third through. Pretty good book. You know, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily teaching me anything. I'm
gonna start doing that too.
Already know for the most part, but it's, you know, it's still pretty good. I'm also gonna start reading this book I read before called Meru Netter. It's a spirituality book based on African spiritualism, so to speak. It's a heavy book though, so it's you know.
Yes.
I'm gonna start reading that again. And there's a book by I think John G. Jackson. He's a black historian called Man, God, Civilization. I've read that book before. That book literally changed my life, man, with some things I read. So I'm about to start reading that book probably in a month. And honestly, man, I think I'm gonna go and pick up one of Swan's books, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that Sleep Smarter shit. I need to figure that out, cause like that.
Yeah.
That's fucking with me right now. I ain't sleeping bad, but I ain't sleeping what I would say good either.
Trust me, get the book. One thing I can tell everybody that's listening: put your fucking phone down
an
hour before you go to sleep.
I do that.
At least. Okay.
I leave my main phone in the den.
You know, Twan, I agree with that, man. I think that's my biggest downfall is just my phone.
Yo.
You know.
And it's interesting because he breaks down how it's increasing your cortisol levels. Like, you think you're in the bed about to go to sleep, but your body is literally waking up. So it's in a conflicted state.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna order this book tonight, man.
Yes.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Already. So I guess with that said, I mean we go into the last topic of the day.
Can I say one more thing right quick?
Yeah,
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead. It's your flow.
I'm also playing God of War 4 on PS4.
You did me.
And
Yes.
bro, this game has got me entrenched. I'm loving it, man. So that's been taking a lot of my time.
What is that about?
It's about this guy. He's a demigod, so to speak, and he's kind of the nemesis of Thor or whatever. But Thor doesn't come into like late in the game. But he was a warrior. You know, he had an attitude problem, things of that nature. He mistakenly killed his wife and his daughter. So in God of War 4, which is the newest version, he's taking his son into the mountains to bury his wife, and they go through the travel and the journey, the battles and whatnot. And I'm not giving it any justice about how I'm explaining it, but it's just the action involved, the background of the story, everything that's involved in it. It's a good game, dude. And I'm just getting into gaming because of the quarantine.
I mean, you know, you too old.
I'm tired of watching Netflix all day. So
you too old to be getting into gaming, man.
Yes.
That's a young man sport, baby.
You know what?
No, brother. No, that is not true.
I said
Young
that
man
out
sport.
my whole life. I said that. I disagree with you on that. I really do understand why a grown ass man plays video games.
That's good, man.
I think you need to, because I'm not on God of War, but I'm on Modern Warfare. Anybody want to come see me? Come see your boy.
What's your handle?
My handle is ox_reloaded.
Ox, how you spell that?
In OX, baby. OX.
Underscore what?
_reloaded.
You got one, G?
So, and that is homage to Mr. Lennox from Belly. Y'all ain't seen Belly go by. The toughest rock.
You wanna rock with me?
You wanna rock with me, ma? Huh?
G, you got one? Or are you just playing against the computer?
What?
You playing
I just
online,
play
man?
the computer, dude. I'm not on that level yet, dude. I'm gonna get there.
Yes.
All right, well, with that said, we move on to the last topic of the day, Bill. Guess this is a little funner topic, a little lighter topic, more or less the NFL 2020 season, if we end up having one. Over the last week, the over and unders for NFL wins, MVPs, and Rookie of the Year that came out. Thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about those as well as some of the free agent movement over the last few weeks since we actually been on lockdown. For instance, your boy Tommy B going down to Tampa. Your boy Emmanuel Sanders came on down to the Bayou. I mean, I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But with that said, I just kind of, as far as like the free agent shit, I just let you, I'll just put it on the table. Y'all go where y'all want to go with that. And then I'll bring up some of the win-losses and we'll talk about certain teams. So, y'all have anything to say as far as like Tampa going to Tampa, Tommy football going to Tampa, or any of the movements, whether it's your boy Cam can't seem to find a job, which I think is fucked up.
So I'm gonna tell y'all this. I ain't got a lot to say. Saints gonna win the fucking Super Bowl. I'm gonna keep saying it every fucking minute.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Y'all not gonna break my heart too many more motherfucking times. At some point we gotta witness shit.
Hey, bro,
I
feel
was
like
not pleased.
we on the back end of our window too, baby.
I was not pleased with I was not pleased that it's TB going to Tampa. Just from the standpoint of the South been on lock. And we're gonna have it on lock still, but now these games gonna be a little bit more fucking interesting.
And the people in Las Vegas still believe that. We're getting to that.
Right. You know, so there's that. The Cam thing I think is egregious because motherfuckers is sleeping on the fact that if Cam has the right quarterback coach, Cam could be the LeBron of fucking NFL. That's my take. That's my hot take.
As far as Cam's concerned, I just think it's kind of fucked up what they did as far as like they waited till like the last moment to cut him.
Oh yeah, that was fucked up.
I thought that was kind of Bush League, by the organization in Charlotte. I mean, or should I say G's team?
Yes.
But you got Teddy B now, baby. You got Teddy B out there now, baby.
Well, you got to realize, my philosophy, which I told you, is it's not that I was a Panthers fan. I was a Cam Newton fan.
Okay.
And so,
yes.
All right.
yeah. But the real reason why everybody messing over him is because he commands too much money. And so they don't want to pay that much for what I still think is egregious, but they don't want to pay that much money for someone who, that's accident prone, injury prone rather.
But the one thing I will disagree with you on, I feel like that organization knew that they were moving on. At a certain point, they knew they were moving on. Specifically, I guess mid-February, late February, when they was like it got out that they gave Cam and his representation the go ahead to go work on a trade. At that point, you already know that organization did everything they could to make a trade. When they put it on the agent to do it, that's because they threw their hands up. And at that point, they could have just cut him, and he would have had the opportunity to take less over a year or two, kind of do what like Drew and Tommy been doing over the last couple of years, where essentially it's a 2-year deal, but essentially it's a 1-year deal. You know what I'm saying? Because the second year ain't guaranteed. It's almost a team option for all intents and purposes. The whole guarantee is basically the first year. He could have worked something like that out at a lower number. It's just, no one wanted to take on that contract. And then if you take on that contract, why would you not extend them another 2 or 3 years? So now you're eating up, in what some people may think as bad money I think it was like $19 million for this year. But I just feel like they should have went on and cut him. They try to get them to do they work for them as far as finding a trade. When at that point they knew they try to set some trades up. The people that can make those trades happen the easiest is going to be the teams because they always talking to teams. You know what I'm saying? But, at any rate, I felt that was a little shady.
Shit is racial. It's fucking racial.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know. But, I think it's wrong what they're doing to him. He's still one of the greater quarterbacks in the league right now.
He's an MVP. He's a former MVP.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Period. How many MVP quarterbacks you got in the league? Probably what, 6? He's one.
I mean, yeah, and not to mention he still won that Super Bowl. So I mean, but I'm not gonna go there. But he's still a great quarterback. But they found all kinds of ways to minimize his greatness. Yeah. But
what y'all think about with your boy Bill O'Brien down in Houston doing, trading away everyone, trading away their best players?
That motherfucker's stupid as shit.
That's the craziest shit, bro. I don't know how
dumbest shit ever.
Like that's one of them motherfuckers. I wish I was like had the ability to have grown up friends with like that family's ownership, the ownership of that family, so I could be like, hey, let me work here. Shit, if you're gonna just let this motherfucker get a job, man, you hire anyone in this motherfucker.
Yes. So wait,
look, man, to bring it full circle.
Come on. Besides that receiver, what's this term? Hopkins.
Yeah.
Who else did they trade?
Well, they traded for but to replace him, they traded for Cooks that was in New Orleans. So and it was a bigger contract. Like he just signed his contract.
Shit.
Like he just signed his contract in like the last year.
Hopkins contract?
No, I'm talking about like Hopkins still had like 3 years left on his. Cook had just signed his contract, so basically he took on more money.
Right.
For a less of a player. And if I'm not mistaken,
who else did they let go?
If I'm not mistaken, well, they didn't really let go, but that's their best player besides
Deshaun.
Deshaun. That's their best player. You know what I'm saying? And in return, they got their running back Johnson, who is on the backside of his playing days, and he still got like 3 years on his contract, a big contract. And then they brought in Cooks, who I want to say last year, or maybe a year and a half ago, signed a big contract. So literally, he's just going further and further in debt on with lesser players. Like,
yeah,
it's just interesting. I found those moves interesting. Although they did bring in Randall Cobb, I like him.
Yeah,
they actually. I heard someone on one of the local like Baton Rouge, New Orleans stations talk about like when they were talking about the draft. They mentioned New Orleans possibly taking, or at least in their mock draft, that guy from Kentucky, Lynn Bowden. I don't know if y'all familiar with him, but I like him. I think he's when I see him, I think Randall Cobb. I think he'll be a good slot guy, and he's like a dog. So I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I think
in the third
for
round.
some reason, I feel like New Orleans window passed on them, dude. The Saints window passed, man.
Nah, this nigga trying to start. This nigga throwing fighting words now, nigga.
He's a Panthers fan.
Yeah,
he's a Panthers fan.
I'm not
it's
even
fighting
like
words.
Preface the listeners with the truth.
G.
Let's talk about
when we see you, baby. It's the cut on site, nigga.
Yes.
on site. The two elephants in the room
Go ahead.
are the Ravens and the Chiefs.
Okay, but they're on the other
And
side.
now, Tampa. Okay, are we talking about the NFC? I think Tampa Bay is the new favorite in the NFC. To be honest with you.
Okay, we gonna get to that.
You say what? You think Tampa Bay is what?
The new
I
favorite.
think Tampa Bay has the best chance to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC.
We'll get to that.
You crazy. You goddamn crazy.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Lost
So
them all.
so what I would say about that, G, what I say about that, G, is I think this current pandemic is not helping them. I think we're in a better position to withstand this than they are. Because he's never played with them.
When you say we, who are you talking about?
Who the fuck do I pull for in the NFL?
Shit. You know?
Yeah, who the fuck do I pull for in the NFL? It's only one
You
team I
watch
pull
IG.
for, baby.
Shit.
God damn it.
Oh, okay.
Check my ID.
God damn it. I ain't from Louisiana, baby. I'm a Louisiana boy, through and through.
Oh. Yeah.
But
yeah.
like I said, I think there's this time right now where people aren't able to like meet and do the regular OTAs and do all that type of stuff, and develop that kind of like rhythm and relationship. I think that's gonna hurt.
Okay.
That's gonna hurt
I
teams
get what
like
you're
them.
saying.
That's gonna hurt teams like them that they have a lot of new pieces coming in, but it takes time to get that camaraderie together. And for all intents and purposes, we haven't basically the majority of our team coming back.
We ready. That's the
Well, I mean,
But I would agree with
I
you.
think the
We're on the
Saints-
back end of our window. We should have won one in the last 3
let me
years.
say this.
Like,
Allow me to retract my statement and say it this way. The Saints really are the favorites. They should be to win the Super Bowl, to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. They really should be. My concern, again, is Drew Brees.
yeah,
at this point.
yeah, he is. He's the concern.
Yes.
If he continues to play as he's been playing, the Saints, which, by the way, they should have gone to Super Bowl last year and the year before that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like they're showing a trend of, dude, can you do it? Can you do it? Can you make it there? And I don't know if they can. They always fall. Something happens at the end of the season every year for them.
I mean, well, that tends to happen in the playoffs, man. The playoffs is one shot.
Well,
thing.
when I say I'm really in the playoffs, they make it to the playoffs every year. But when they get in the playoffs, they're a different team.
All right. Well, with that said, I guess we can go ahead and kind of, circle around to what we came into today. So fresh out the topic, fresh out of Las Vegas, 2020 NFL win totals. At the top, we have Baltimore and Kansas City at 11.5. What y'all think on that?
That sounds right to me.
Under you got the over or under?
Can we separate them?
That's basically 12. So they got to win 12 games to go over.
I don't think both of them are going to win 12.
Who you got?
I think both of them going to win. I got both. I got over on both.
I feel like
I got
Baltimore.
Kansas City.
Yeah, I feel like Baltimore's gonna take a step back. I think they could probably be better because this year they're gonna have a tougher schedule. They're gonna get the first place schedule this year. You know what I'm saying? That's usually a tougher schedule. Same with Kansas City, but I think that they have more in place to hit 12 and plus.
I'm taking the under on both of them. I don't think
Yes.
I don't think the Ravens are going to do as well as they did. And I think Kansas City is going to be on a Super Bowl hangover.
I can see that too. I can see that, but I still see them. I can see them doing 12. You know what I'm saying? Like I see Baltimore more like the 11-5. So that would technically be under. Next up would be New Orleans and San Francisco at 10.5. Over and under.
Under.
Both?
Taking over.
So you saying the Saints and the 49ers are going to win 9 games this year? 10 games this year, I'm sorry.
Yeah, or less.
Okay, that was up. We're going to make sure we keep this.
We're
We're going to keep this.
San Francisco, but
That's tough because, 10 would definitely get us in the playoffs. As far as like the Saints. And we're going to have the first place schedule again. Drew's going to play all most of the. I'm really hoping one of them boys end up in New Orleans as far as like Cam or Jameis.
Man, look, they got to play Carolina twice. The Saints got to play Carolina twice this year. They got to
play them every year
Tampa Bay
twice.
this year.
That's 2 wins.
And they got to play
Carolina's
the
trash.
Falcons twice. Come on, man.
Carolina's trash.
I'm gonna go over for New Orleans just because it in theory should be Drew's last year, and
That's what they saying.
the only reason why I can see him coming back is if they don't have fans in the stadium. I can see him not liking that and come back another year, especially if he had a decent year. As far as like the 49ers, I feel like they're gonna take a step back. I'll take the under on that one.
I don't see it.
Oh, Twan don't like that.
I don't see it. I don't see the Saints or 49ers taking a step back under, what was it, 10 games? Nah.
I think so.
I don't see it.
I think so. I mean, but the thing about it is 10 games would still be the under. Because it's 10.5. So they either got to win
So they gotta get
11 or 10.
games.
You know,
Yeah,
11 is the over.
I think both of them won 11 games.
Okay.
I do.
I think 49ers going to take a step back this year.
And I'm basing that off of their schedule. First off,
so they're going to have the first place schedule too.
But the 49ers play the NFC East. I mean,
West?
this year.
Okay.
49ers got to play the NFC East this year.
Okay.
And they play the fucking AFC West or whatever division the Patriots in, they play them too. No, they win in 11 games.
The AFC East?
So they got to play the Dolphins, the Bills, the Redskins, the Eagles, the Giants, the Jets, the Patriots. Come on, man.
I'll give you that. That sounds like, but I still feel like they're gonna take. I don't feel like they were a 13-win team last year.
Well, okay.
No.
They should have been a fucking 12-win team if we'd have fucking just tackled them motherfuckers. But, you know,
This is true.
that's
This
a
is true.
whole nother...
These are facts.
That's a whole nother... Like, if the fucking defense could come up with one stop in the whole fucking game, it's a whole nother dynamic. But, you know...
All right. Well, the only other team in double digits is the Green Bay Packers, and they at 10.
That's tough, man. I don't know about them.
Yeah, that was kind of tough. 10 is hard because, like, I think 10.5 would have put most people would have went 10, would have went under.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under on the Packers just because I don't think they're a dynamic team. I think they're literally thriving on the quote unquote greatness of Aaron Rodgers, who to me
He's taking a
is
step
not
back.
that great anymore.
Yeah, he's taking a step back.
Right. I just don't. They don't have great coaches. They have greater competition, I think, especially with the Vikings. I mean, the Lions, they can beat them probably if they really wanted to. The Bears, I think they'll get better because I think they just signed a new quarterback. I don't think the Packers.
Oh yeah, they got your boy out of.
How many wins we talking about with the Packers?
The over and under is 10, so they have to win 11 to go over.
Should not happen.
Yeah.
Under like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know who they got to play this year? The NFC South. Should not happen.
Yeah.
They got to play us and Tommy Two Guns over there. And they got to play Two Gloves Teddy. Should not happen.
Right. Teddy's gonna beat him. Teddy already beat him when he played for the Vikings. Tom Brady's gonna beat him, and Drew Brees is gonna beat him.
And
whatever.
they got to play the 49ers. Should not happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I let me think. I'm gonna say over.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna say over.
Go ahead, say over.
Yeah, I'm gonna say over just because I don't believe in the NFC North. I think they're gonna run that.
Oh, I think they could win the North at fucking 9 and 7? No, because it's 17 games now, right?
We always, they're gonna win a game they're not supposed to. We feel like they're not supposed to win.
So 9 and 8. They're gonna go 9 and 8.
You mean 9 and 7? They got to be 9 and 7. But But at the same
Nah,
time,
because it's 17 games now, right?
okay, I got you. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right.
They're gonna go 9-8.
Other than that, I'll do the Buccaneers. Just let y'all know, Buccaneers and the Falcons. I'll finish out the South, and then if y'all have any questions about any particular team, let me know. The Buccaneers are at 9, so they definitely got us favored to win the South. I'm gonna go over. I think that's a push because I think 9 is really the number.
I can't go over. If I go over, then that means we under. So
Hey man, they beat us for Jameis before, baby. So that you know what I'm saying. They beat us with goddamn what's your boy down in Miami now? Fitz Magic? God damn.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was like the
Hold
worst
on,
fucking start.
wait. To the defense of the Saints, we play like shit when there's a no-name scrub-ass quarterback come out of nowhere and start the game.
All right,
That's just
all right. Excuses are.
check the history.
My
That's
brother.
just how it goes.
Excuses.
Hey, excuses off. These fucking referees. Drew can't throw past 20 yards. Fucking Marcus can't tackle with his head up. I mean, I got a bunch of them.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that was when I was hoping we was gonna get rid of.
He's not bad though. He's not bad.
But he's always missing tackles, bruh. And that was probably a year we was gonna sneak a Super Bowl. His fucking mixed tackle. We were the best team left in that fucking playoff. When he missed that fucking tackle. And he's still missing fucking tackles.
For all your listeners, this right here, this is heartbreak. This is what heartbreak feels like.
Yes.
This is what it feels like.
3 years
If you out there breaking hearts, this is what the motherfuckers sound like talking about your ass to his friend.
Yeah.
All right? Just want to let you know.
Atlanta Falcons at 7.5. I like over. I'm going 8. I think 8 wins.
Welcome.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons going to go 3-28 next year.
And then the Panthers are 5.5. I don't know, man. I think they're gonna go under. I think 5.
I'm gonna go over.
I think 5. I want Teddy to do well, but this that team's
you know how
first year.
shitty you got to be to get 5 wins.
Bruh.
Come on, bro. 5 wins.
We got a complete college coaching staff.
Man, 5 wins though, dog. That's no. That's disrespectful.
I mean, I think it's an under. Like I think the Miami Dolphins gonna win more than 6.
So is Fitzmagic still the quarterback for the Dolphins?
They probably gonna draft one.
Oh, okay.
They're talking about
that would make
Hubert
sense.
now, but they were talking about Tonga Valoa.
Ooh, okay.
I didn't know that. So I just pulled up their schedule. So we got to play the Chiefs this year. Ooh, I'm going to that game.
who is that? Who's dog barking?
Ain't it? That ain't mine.
Oh, that's what. G. I didn't want to say nothing, but I was wondering if that's the one with the two dogs. You still fucking with the 2 dogs?
Who?
The 2 dogs.
See, now you putting the business out there on the air.
Yeah, I can always edit this. I mean, I own this. I own this shit. My name is Tada. Y'all have any questions?
What?
The 2 dogs, nigga. That was 2 dogs you used to be on social media with, nigga. You know what I'm talking
No,
about.
the 2 dogs, man. When you was in love.
Hey man, next subject, man. Next subject.
Yes.
Yeah, that part the fuck out.
Let me see what time this is. Okay, yeah. See, my name is Tada. I can take that shit out. All right. Y'all have any teams y'all interested in? Any over?
Well, it's like final. Oh.
Any other ones y'all want to hear?
Patriots. What they got the Patriots at?
Let's see. Where they got them at? 9.
That's an under.
Okay. Yeah, I think most people, them and the Bills are at 9 together.
I think motherfuckers gonna realize just how important Tom Brady was, because the Patriots about to look like the Browns did when Belichick was there.
Well, I mean, they're saying if he can.
And I think Belichick is the best coach in the NFL. I just don't think he got the team to reflect.
Well, the thing about it, if he actually hits 9, which would be a push, he'll get into the playoffs. That'll look good.
Yeah.
Still made the playoffs without the best player ever. Quarterback, at least.
Yeah.
Any more questions on over and unders for wins?
Nah.
All right. So next up, MVP odds for 2020. They got it leads with Patrick Mahomes plus 350, followed by Lamar Jackson plus 600, Russell Wilson at plus 800, and then it falls down to Deshaun Watson at plus 1,400. Y'all have any MVP prognostication? Y'all agree with that?
I think that Patrick Mahomes is who he is. I think he's always going to be in the MVP race every year. So that makes sense to me. Whether he's number one, I don't know. I mean, if Lamar Jackson has another season like he did last year, which I think he'll get better. A lot of people think he'll get worse. I think the contrary.
I mean, technically, he can get worse and get better. You know that stats can be worse and be better.
That's true. But yeah, I think he had his stats look great on camera, right? So I think that's what really got him the MVP. But I don't think Lamar Jackson will win the MVP in 2020. I think it'll be. I'm gonna go with Patrick Mahomes. Man.
Mahomes. Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Tony?
I detest the question.
Breeze, after Deshaun, it's Tom and then Breeze. So I just give you
that sounds about right. I'm not. I would give it to Breeze, and I don't know what Tom got. I'm just saying.
Plus 1,600.
I
Plus
think
1,800.
The NFL should make a most valuable quarterback and then most valuable player. Because the fact that this most valuable player is always a fucking quarterback is a fucking joke. It's like, all right, who I think is going to be the most valuable quarterback? I'm going to go with Pat Mahomes, or if Cam gets a job, Cam.
I like Cam. If he gets a job, I like Cam too. He's going to be very motivated. But I'm going to go Breeze just because if this is last year, I think it's going to be one of those swan song type years. Where they gonna?
If that motherfucking Swan can throw past 25 yards, I'd agree with you.
Hey man, if we can get back to 12 games and get first or second round, you know what I'm saying, first or second place, I think.
There ain't no second place. Second place don't matter no more.
I mean, you know, second place still matter in the sense that you get the home field. I mean, you may not get the initial bye, but home field.
We got our ass whipped at home.
Hey, bro, I'd rather play at home, dude. Would you rather play on the road?
If it's a win, I don't give a fuck where I win. What I don't want is Minnesota to the dome.
So are you all right? So what are you gonna say? So you're saying
Arizona Cardinals.
So if we play, whether we play at home or on the road, what do you think we have a better chance of winning?
Yeah, we have a better chance of winning at home.
All right, then, motherfucker. Stop fucking fighting me, man.
Yes.
I ain't fighting you. I'm just saying.
God damn, man.
You
Shit,
started
like
you
stating the obvious, man. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Yeah, I don't care if they win.
Taysom could have fucking won that game. They should have put Teddy two gloves.
I feel like
analyze the fucking tape, dog.
I feel like y'all.
Every time they change the quarterback, the fucking rhythm of the offense looks better. In that Vikings game, every fucking time.
I still don't feel like I think y'all overestimating his value as a quarterback, though.
Jason?
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie, I like the motherfucker, but I ain't overvaluing him.
I don't want him to be my quarterback.
I agree with that.
I don't want him to be my quarterback. Period.
Right.
Period.
I don't know. I got two more. I need
Next
more
year, I feel like if that was the case, Teddy would not have played last year. There was no point in bringing Teddy in the game if you really felt like he was the best quarterback. No point. Especially with what we already were seeing, especially halfway through that, what we were seeing from Lamar. If you really felt like he was on par with Lamar Jackson, we could do the same thing. Why not?
Because if you put Taysom as a quarterback, you lose Taysom as a player.
I give you
And
that.
if you thought that offense was unstoppable with Taysom in the game, then you start Teddy as a quarterback.
All right, I give
Especially
you
if you
that.
have to manage a game. If
I
you got
give
to
you that.
manage a game for 5 games, you playing the odds. And
I
if
give you
Taysom
that.
is on the field with Cook and fucking Thomas, somebody's gonna be open.
But
Hey, come on.
my rebuttal to that is if you felt like he was a better quarterback, then you're gonna go with the better quarterback.
What I'm saying, even if you thought he was a better
So,
quarterback, you might have thought the better quarterback gave you a lesser chance to win because the team is not as good with him at that position.
Nah, cause see, this how so. This is what Cam. This is the Cam and the Lamar situation. You trying to put him in the Lamar thing. You always put the ball in your best player's hand. He only got the ball maybe 4 times a game, 5 times a game at most. Like, period. If you felt like he was going to be the next guy, and he's your best player at quarterback after Drew, you're gonna get the ball to your best player.
Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see what it looks like this year.
Look, I like him for what he is, but I don't want him to be my quarterback, dude. I think by now, at 30 years old, you would have seen something by now. He got a better arm than Drew, but he should. He 29-30. He should be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But anyway, moving on, last little topic, Rookie of the Year. I'll give you the top 5. We have Joe Burrow.
It's only 2, man. It's only 2.
Well,
2,
I
bro.
mean, you never know, man, because, you never
Wait,
know,
you're
bro.
talking about NBA, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about NFL.
Oh.
Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year. We don't know who the rookie's going to be yet in the NBA. So they got Joe Burrow at the top, plus 220. Tua Tagovailoa at plus 650. Got Andre Swift as a running back at plus 750. Another running back, Jonathan Taylor, at plus 1,100. And then I'll stop at Jerry Jeudy at plus 1,400. They got followed by Justin Herbert, C.D. Lamb, Henry Ruggs, J.K. Dobbins, and then my homeboy, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yes.
Out of those top 10, who y'all think will have the biggest season next year as a rookie?
G.
I'm
well,
gonna start.
I-
I think I'll start here. I think it's probably going, as far as like overall, I like Swift. I think Swift's gonna be every down back.
Yeah, I was kind of leaning towards Swift as well. I think it'll either be him or one of those wide receivers, like Lamb or Judy.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a
But
quarterback.
it's not going to be a quarterback. I don't think any of those quarterbacks will be productive in their first year. And I don't think Elaire. I think Elaire was good for the LSU system.
Yeah, I don't think he's
I
every
don't know
down
how
back.
good he's not right, exactly. He's not an every down back. He's too short. I don't think he'll be as productive because they just won't play him that much.
Yeah,
so
maybe
I'm going to give it to Swift.
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 years from now, when he's up for the next contract, and they feel like he's ready to be the every down, but not next year. Kind of like
Right.
What's the guy that was in New Orleans? Tony, what was the short guy in New Orleans?
Which one?
The short guy.
Sproles.
Yeah, kind of like Sproles. I think, because, that was a few years there with the Chargers in New Orleans where they kind of made Sproles almost the every down back. And I think, that 5 to 7 year, that if he's still there, I think that's when he'll become like the every down back.
Yeah. So, I mean, out that list, I'm going to give it to Swift.
Tony?
I'm going to say Judy or Chase Young. And I think it's going to be Chase Young.
Chase Young, I got you.
I don't know why he wasn't on the list, but that's
Well,
what I'm getting.
Well, rookie defensive ends really splash
I agree.
in their first year.
Here's the rub with that. Chase Young better than Joey Bosa. And Joey Bosa splashed like a motherfucker.
Joey Bosa also had, 4 other first rounders on his line.
Okay. I don't know where he's going. So
Yeah, you're right. Because it's similar in Washington. You never know.
yeah. And he going under Ron Rivera if he go to Washington.
That's what they got projected. You never know.
I'm not opposed to my pick.
I hear you. I'm not
When
mad
is the
at it.
draft
I'm not
anyway?
mad at it. Like I said, just most of the time they don't splash. But you're right. I give you that. With that said, man, again, don't be a square. Hit the share, like, love, notification button on all our social media platforms. And Hot Takes and Half Truth podcast on Facebook, SoundCloud, and YouTube. It's HT Square Pod on IG and Twitter. And if you're truly new school, old school, you can email us at htsquarepod@gmail.com. You can reach me directly at IamIvyJoe on IG and Twitter. And that's Joe, Jeaux. And you can hit my compadre, who had to leave early today, at Just Kingin on IG and Twitter. Fellas, how do people can get in touch with you? Tony?
Or you can reach me, Gerard, at GSims100.
And that's on what,
Instagram.
IG?
Oh, yeah. That's all I do, baby.
IG. Tony?
So yeah, I'm gonna keep it to IG because I don't remember my Twitter handle.
Yeah, you be fucking around on Twitter, man. Yeah, man.
I need to get on it, but
I had to look your shit up hard. I was like, I know this nigga's on there.
I am, and you would think that I would be on Twitter as much as I think and talk, but I don't use it. But anyway, Instagram, you can catch me at T_Saint.success. So that's T_ST.success.
All right. And just like that,
Yeah, man.
we're done. We try to do better next time. From the 4 of us to all of you, talk to you next time.